I got this all day.
I know you do. Boom, live. Okay, what the fuck were you just telling me about
Hi,
Rolls
Joe.
Royce? Hi, Matt Farah.
What's
How are you,
happening,
buddy? Good to see you again.
We were just
man.
talking about Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
Because I was here in your new baller studio, which congratulations,
Thank
it's
you.
sick. Admiring your skylights, and we were discussing the Rolls Royce and the Starfield ceiling they do.
yeah.
Which is they put all these fiber optic lights into your headliner, and it looks like the stars. And I think it's 15 grand the option. I think.
It's so badass.
It's so badass. It's so badass. And not only will they do it so you can get your standard star pattern, which is just whatever the guy, just random, right? Random lights. Or they'll make you exact constellations if you prefer.
Right, like if you're one of those astrology people.
Yeah. Or they will make you, the sky directly above your house if you give them a coordinate. There's a photo of it.
How badass that looks.
So badass. It's like, it's so awesome.
You're balling so hard when you're driving around with a car with stars in the roof.
Well, so the last thing I said before you hit live was that they have just announced they have come out with a shooting star. So I don't know how it works. I'm not sure exactly what, but I guess you can get shooting stars in your ceiling.
That is crazy. What are they going to do? Make the whole thing a big LCD pattern or something?
Yeah, I guess, or I don't know. I guess you could run an LED or a fiber optic line that works in some kind of a train. I emailed once I got that press release, because I get press releases and I just delete them. I don't, but when I saw shooting star ceiling, I responded, "Can I have further info and video on this?" And they said they'd get back to me. So
I've never even been in one of those things.
Never?
No, never been in a Rolls Royce.
You must.
What is it like in there?
It's like sailing. It's like yachting.
Phil Hartman had a really, really old, I think it was an old Bentley. I mean, like really old.
Like 60s old?
Older than that.
Like 30s old?
It was fucking old, man. I wish I paid attention to cars back then. But back then it was when I just started getting on TV. I really didn't. When I was broke, I always loved cars when I was a kid, but then I was broke. My attitude was like, don't think about some shit you're never going to be able to afford.
Yeah.
So just don't think
Look
about
at you now, Joe Rogan, with all the toys
Got a lot
and
of
somewhere
toys.
to park them.
Somewhere to park them. But he had this old baller looking thing. It was like something out of Citizen Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Just this incredible boat. And,
Like
I think
pontoon fenders, the whole deal.
I think you shifted it on the tree.
Probably. I would say, if I had to guess, something baller that feels like, I would say Bentley Continental S1 would be the most likely
It might have been.
candidate.
I don't
It's
know
a
what it
stunning
was.
automobile.
But he loved that thing. He would just have this giant smile on his face with that thing. He was like, this
I can
is
picture
so
that
ridiculous.
Phil Hartman smile.
Oh, he loved it, man. That
can't
dude
do the
loves
voice.
cars.
That's great. Phil Hartman's bit like that?
Something
See,
along
look at
those
that.
lines.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember because, like I said, back then, like if you asked me today, like there's cars that I don't know shit about, like Rolls Royces or Bentleys. But if you showed me like an old Porsche, I'd be like, oh, that's a '73 long nose.
Yeah,
I know that one.
Well, we all have our areas of nerddom.
Like muscle cars, I'm a good muscle car guy. I understand most muscle cars. Like,
Yeah.
I could pick them out in a lineup. But
Well,
old
Bentley and Rolls Royce are a weird one because they have sort of this intertwined history where
Yeah.
they were separate and then they became together and then they became separate again. So there's a lot of Rolls Royces and Bentleys that are mostly the same car.
That's like super baller level where you're like, okay, look, forget about it. Let's just get a car that's makes no sound, like you can't hear anything.
Rollses are really amazing cars.
Oh.
They're so fucking cool, dude.
I can imagine.
And even like to a lot of car guys, especially like, you are such like a manual transmission, you want your car, I know you want your car to be like really close to a race car.
I like it being dirty. I
Right.
like it being gritty. Like I want to feel the rocks as I drive over them.
Right. Well, you would appreciate a Rolls Royce's ability to make 100% of that disappear. You know what I'm saying? Like disappear entirely. And like there's really neat details, and like the word flying or floating or sailing is so true because you don't really drive it. You just kind of fucking will it down the road. And you know how like your Porsche or a sports car will have like the thumb grips on the wheel at 9 and 3, like so Rolls Royce has thumb grips at 4 and 8.
Really?
You drive them underhand. Gangster.
Everybody
Extremely
drives
gangster.
them underhand.
You drive them
feel
underhand.
this. Let me feel this. Yeah, I'm just.
It's that It's underhand. Yeah.
Just so relaxed.
Because you don't even lift your arms above shoulder height. And then, you know, your car has a tachometer, right? It shows you your RPMs. It's a rough indicator of how much power you're using, right? Roughly, not exactly, but before people go crazy about the lack of a technical term. Rolls Royces don't have tachometers. They have a power reserve gauge, which shows you how much power the car has, but that you are not using at any given time.
Whoa.
Right? So if you're coasting along, it's at 100. Going down a hill, maybe you're just off the gas, off the brake, coasting. There you go, power reserve. So if you're coasting, you are using 0% of your engine.
Right.
And the idea is to keep that gauge low because you want to be able to pass cars and cruise down the road while using 25% of this car's engine power.
Wow.
So pimp.
God, and they're stupid horsepower, right? Like crazy power, right?
Like not like crazy, but like 4 to 500. So high, yes, high horsepower, high torque.
Isn't that funny that saying that is not that hard for a car of today?
Oh, our standards are
so crazy.
Are blown out. Our standards
They're
are
so
the
weird.
internet has fucked us all up. The internet standard.
I was reading about a new Miata, which, by the way, might be like one of the most underrated cars ever.
The new Miata? It's
Just
lovely.
any Miatas.
Yeah, they're great.
Like for the bang for the buck.
Oh, yeah.
For a fun little car to drive that kind of is real nimble, gets
great.
around. They're fucking great. But it was only like 150 horsepower.
Yeah, there it is. That's the new Miata. 160 horsepower, I think.
That's like you hear that and you're like, what?
Yeah, but do you know there's a company in Colorado called Flying Miata? You know them, right?
Yeah,
you know where I'm going with this.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they put an LS3 in one of these. So I drove one that has a 575 horsepower LS3, and it's fucking great.
That must be insane.
It's great. You know why? Because it's got these long legs. You know, like it's a little car, but it's got the Corvette long legs. So third gear's good for like 90.
Wow.
It's great.
Now, when you're driving a car like that, is the balance fucked up by that engine, or is it similar weight?
No, it's actually similar weight.
Wow.
I think the LS conversion is like, I don't want to say exactly, but it's like maybe that's the older car, Jamie. That they do it to a newer one as well. It's
so
like it's a few extra pounds in the front, but actually they have to use the rear differential from a Camaro. So a lot of the extra weight goes in the back, and so the car's maybe 100 pounds heavier with the V8 in it, but it's 4 times the power. So who gives
What
a
is
shit?
the weight of a Miata? Like a standard?
2350.
That's so light.
And then that you see that thing in the picture was called an exoset, which is so that exoskeleton thing that says Flying Miata on it. Oh, this is an interesting photograph actually. Sorry, podcast people. We've got two vehicles on a track from Flying Miata. The one in front is an exoskeleton car with really no body work on it at all, and that's called an exoset. And so what is you buy that chassis and you buy a Miata. And you take apart the Miata and you put all the Miata shit on this chassis. Whoa. And so you end up with like a 1,200 pound thing. And you can put turbos and you can put V8s and you can do all different kind of stuff.
Is it street legal?
Yes, it is.
What?
Street legal, carb legal. And then the
That's
thing behind
crazy.
it is called a Bauer Catfish.
Did you say carb legal, like as far as like emissions? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you use a carb legal like the E-Rod engine, like John Ward likes, or the stock Miata engine, for sure. Yeah, if you use a carb legal engine, it's California legal.
That's crazy.
I've driven them. They're fast, but nothing about Exocet's design should be taken from this statement. I don't feel safe in them. You know what I'm saying?
Just 'cause
I'm not
you're
trying to
just
insult.
out there in the open.
Yeah, it's to me,
Right.
I like having a body around me.
But it's way safer than a motorcycle.
True. But a motorcycle, I was thinking about this. A motorcycle offers an experience that cannot be replicated.
Right.
And if you are going to take the kind of risks involved in riding a motorcycle, that experience is kind of worth it. To me in short bursts, whereas I don't think the experience of driving a car with no body on it is worth you.
I don't think it is either, but fuck.
Because you can get a lot of awesome car with body work.
Yeah. But it's also like the thrill of the motorcycle is like it is you either have it or you don't.
Yes.
Like you're either in a convertible or you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah. And
like
the leaning, of course, is really.
And is that thing any more thrilling than a regular convertible, honestly? I mean, it's faster.
It's not faster than all convertibles.
No, but I mean, the having the no, the no roof. And everything,
right. I mean, you definitely
more
feel connected to the elements. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And you can go, because it's so light, you can use a relatively mundane engine and go very, very fast.
Yeah. Imagine 1,200 pounds.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, it's nothing. You know, and you put
so much fun.
imagine a Corvette engine in that thing.
Oh my God.
Which you can do.
That's
I mean,
that's so crazy.
yeah. People are crazy. I drive some shit that is dangerous.
I know. Your one-take video series that you do where you're people let you drive their fucking crazy hot rods.
I know.
Souped-up cars. Like, woo.
I've just retired from driving people's personal cars.
You
yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I just saw this. I might go to Reno and drive
this. What the fuck is this?
This is these weird software guys built this thing in Reno. That's called a Teslanda. That's a... Did you hear anything? No, you didn't.
It's electric?
That is a Tesla drivetrain in a 1981 Honda. And it weighs 2,200 pounds, and it runs like an 8-second quarter mile.
That is hilarious.
Awesome, right?
I just love that there's people like that out there. That
The nerds
doing
are
shit
winning.
Like that. Oh, they're winning 100%.
Yeah, the Teslanda. Yep. So I weird shit, but I figured I have rolled the dice. You got to know when to walk away, know when to run, know when to count your money.
Yeah.
I think the dealing's done.
I'm sure. Yeah. Good for you. You made out. You're one of the rare few that beat Vegas.
Right? I mean, either I decide when to stop or a lawyer does.
That's so true. What we were talking about is just so amazing that the horsepower wars, because of their steady increase every year. You come out with a 2018 Corvette, people expect it to be faster. It's
always got to go
than
up.
217.
Yeah.
Come on, man, we got the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, hey, fucking Ford just put a new engine in the Mustang 350 GT, and so there's always something. Hey, they got the GT 500 coming. Well, shit, we're gonna go up to 900 horsepower. Like.
Isn't it crazy that it's just like money? Like not even a lot of money. Like you can get a Hellcat for used Hellcat like $45,000. You know what I mean? Like $600 a month, $700 a month, and you got 700 horsepower.
You hooked me up with one of those when I was in Denver when I was
for your
filming my
special?
Comedy Central
Yeah.
special. I drove a red Hellcat through the mountains.
I remember that.
With a astronaut's outfit on.
Fast, right?
Dude, they're great. It's a great car.
Now they have a wider. Have you seen the wider bodywork?
I like that.
And so it's actually got quite a lot more tire under
That's
it.
what that was.
It's good.
I had a complaint. It doesn't have that muscle car ass. I like a car with a
Now it
muscle car
does.
ass.
The wide body Hellcat does, yeah.
There's something about those fat tires in the rear, man.
Yeah.
Like as an old school musclehead dork, that's what you want.
I saw, Motorator Matt D'Andrea.
No.
He's on Adam Carolla's podcast. He's on
okay.
does car gas. He just posted a picture on Twitter of he saw your old sick fish spotted somewhere.
That's funny.
It was not in a. It was not in this. It was in a bit of a sad state, honestly.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was a little tired looking.
Beat up?
according to the picture. Yeah, someone had.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a cool looking car when that thing came out.
Yeah, that football player, Reggie, what's his name?
Bush?
Reggie Bush. He bought it.
Oh, really?
He bought it off the guy that I sold it to.
Thing's been around.
Yeah, it's a great looking car. That year, like all those years, like 70, 71, those second generation Barracudas, that's a special look. And I think a lot of the Hellcat is in that. You know?
For
it's
sure.
Like the same kind of look. It's pretty close.
It's pretty close, but I really wish it was the same size. A Hellcat is 125 or 130% overinflated scale version of that.
That's true. It is
Those
bigger,
70,
right?
71 Cudas are the most valuable muscle cars that there are today.
Those Hemi ones, right?
Yeah, the Hemi Cudas are the rarest and most valuable of those. They're the ones that only get over like $1 million usually.
That's incredible for a car that was what, $30,000 new back in
I think it was
1970.
$5,000.
Was it? Was it 5,000?
I don't know. My reverse math
guessing.
doesn't go back that far, really.
Let's take a guess. I
think it was like 5,000 to 6,000 wouldn't be out of the question.
A Hemi Cuda.
All right, for the
from
big motor, let's go with
It's top end, top end.
$8,500.
Okay, you go with 8,500. What did I say? 30,000. I'm gonna reevaluate.
I think you need to reevaluate. And
I'm
it's
gonna
got to be
say
a 426
15.
Hemi Cuda.
I'm gonna play a dirty game. Price is Right.
Dun,
I'm gonna go
dun,
right
dun.
above him. I'm gonna go right above him with
Dun, dun, dun,
15,000.
dun. Is Jamie coming in with $1? Fucking us all up, winning the show.
426.
426 Hemi Cuda.
Which year?
1970.
70.
Yeah, that's the good year. Well, the 2 years of my favorite years, 70 and 71.
Roughly the same, I think, aren't they?
71's got 4 headlights.
Oh, look at you,
70's
Joe
got
Rogan.
2. Yeah.
Out
70
nerding.
also has the smaller grill face. Like the teeth are small in the front, which is what I had. I had a 70. Whereas 71 has the full grill face.
Yeah.
It's really more aggressive.
Yeah.
I think 71 might be a little bit better looking, to be honest with you.
I can't recall if one year is more valuable than the other.
71, I think, is probably the best looking.
Are the results in, Jamie?
Window sticker,
Yeah.
original,
Yeah.
34.33.
$3,433.
Oh my God.
Jamie's $1 would have won it.
That's the
there
car.
it is. Yeah.
Jamie, pull up 1971 Barracuda nose. That is that's I think my favorite look in any muscle car is the 1971 Barracuda. It's just like this aggressive American looking
with
grill.
the
Like, look at that,
yes,
son.
yep.
I mean,
Yep.
that is about as fucking aggressive
Yeah.
as a grill can get.
It's
Look
got
at
a
that
mouthful
thing.
of teeth.
It looks like a Barracuda.
It really does.
It really does.
They've actually.
They fucking nailed it, man.
They were better at actually, I think, naming things what they looked like back then.
God damn, that looks good.
I do still think the Corvette Stingray looks Stingray-ish. I think that still works.
A little bit.
Still works.
Kind of.
Yeah.
That looks like a fucking Barracuda, though.
Yes, it does.
That looks like it's going to get you.
I just found a way for you to spend another $1 million, Joe Rogan.
I would never buy one of those. I don't like, I'm weird with shit. I don't like stock old cars.
Well, because they drive like garbage? Could that be why?
Yeah, I have zero interest in them.
You got your Vet, right?
Yeah.
But that's like a modified Pro Touring chassis and all that
100%.
stuff, right?
Yeah. And it's got a LS1 in it.
Oh, so it drives like a normal car.
Supercharged. Yeah, it drives like a normal car.
Have you ever driven a stock one of that year?
No.
It's not good. You're lucky.
There's a guy up the street. He hates me.
Why?
We live in the same block, and he's got an original. He's one of those original guys. He drives around with a paperboy hat on and drives around the neighborhood.
Oh no!
And,
Does he set up
he's
a
like,
lawn chair at Cars and Coffee and
don't
play
know.
fucking
Probably.
sock hop music?
Dude,
Fuck those
the
people.
look he had in his face when I told him that none of it was original except the shell, the outside. I go, it looks original. It doesn't have a goddamn thing in it. The inside, I guess, the shape of the dashboard's original.
Fuck him.
Well,
Your car.
I was like, look, man, I like them to drive like a car that works good.
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad to upgrade the brakes?
No, it is not. You're fine.
But this whole thing that it's somehow or another like doing a disservice to the vehicle by upgrading the brakes.
These people are assholes.
It's not a
Don't listen to
museum
them.
piece, man. It's an
No,
awesome
if
car.
you're going on the lawn at Pebble Beach, you keep it original.
Yes,
Other than that,
right.
I mean, especially look, you love the depths of the internet. Look at Los Angeles driving circa 1960 and then Los Angeles driving today. You know, the heat, the traffic, all of
Yeah.
an old car is not meant to handle that shit. You want to drive an old car here, you need to upgrade a few things. Cooling,
said,
brakes.
when I find out that a dude just drives an old car, I give him an extra level of respect.
You know what he's going through.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith, my partner in the UFC now. He used to work for Bellator. Now he works for the UFC. He drives a 1968 Firebird.
Every day?
Stock seats, stock brakes, everything. I'm like, whoa.
Does he know
Drove
what
it
he's
here.
missed? Have you let him drive your M5
He
yet?
doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. He likes old muscle cars. He likes them the way they are. He had a Camaro, I think, and I think his Camaro got hit by some asshole and totaled it. So he's like, all right,
There's
get another one.
guys in my hood in Venice where I live. There's a lot of old daily drivers for sure.
Wow.
But I don't know. I can't do it. I just don't need that
It's
in my
a different
life.
experience.
Yeah.
You got to realize that you're not going to be able to hit the brakes real good. That's not worth it to me.
I like to drive too close to the people in front of me.
Oh, well, even if something steps out in the road, you know? I mean, how many times have you been driving and a deer steps out in front of your car?
bunch.
A bunch.
I was driving down the road in a video that's been viewed about 3 million times, and a guy was dragging a log on like a 50-foot chain behind a Ford Explorer.
Oh, my God.
Back and forth across the road.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was like the most viewed video on Reddit for 24 hours.
Oh, my God.
It was crazy, just dragging a log, like a log, 4 feet by 2 feet, giant tree trunk log.
Fucking assholes out there. You can't have shitty suspension that whoa. Remember trying to turn in one of those cars?
Yeah.
It's literally like a boat.
Oh my God. But you know what else is like tires is a big difference too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, old Porsches used to be called Widowmakers and shit, but you take one of those old 70s turbo Porsches that, you know, there's volumes about how scary they are to drive, and you put them on Michelin Pilot Super Sports and you're like, "Oh, you thought 300 horsepower was scary. That's cute."
Isn't that funny?
You know,
they were
like-
scared of 300 horsepower.
Oh, here's my log video. Look, wait, watch this. Boom, log.
That is so crazy. That is so goddamn crazy. You're
Yeah.
sitting there going, what?
And I was in a supercharged Lamborghini Huracan making like 900 horsepower. Look at that. And look at the road this guy is just free dragging a fucking log.
That guy does not seem wise.
But I choked. I mean, I had an opportunity to throw a zinger there at this person, and instead I just talked to myself and drove away.
No, you're better off. You're not going to fix that guy. If he's so stupid, he's driving a giant log down a public road.
Yeah.
13. What was that?
And
At
look,
least
wait,
13
look
feet
on the
behind
other
his
side of the
car.
road. Look at the marks. Like the log, actually, as I go up, you can see the mark of dirt like moving back and forth across the road. It was easier to see the other way, I guess, but ugh, Jesus. Don't do that, people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he couldn't pick it up. It looked too big. So I guess he
I don't
just
see
decided
how
to
that's
put
an
it-
appropriate solution. Well, you can't
Not only
pick
that,
something up.
why would he be so convinced that the log was going to stay attached to the chain?
I don't know.
I mean, how much does he know about logs and chains? You know,
I mean, he
being
seemed like an
dragged?
advanced chain scientist in the specialty of logs.
Fucking assholes out there, man. Dragging a log behind a car on a public road. That's a big ass log, too.
Yeah,
That
couple
looks like
hundred
a
pounds easy.
4-foot log, right? That chain is not going to hold up. That log's going to bounce and go through someone's fucking windshield. God damn, man.
Thank God it wasn't
That is
mine.
so in
This
is
borrowed-
crazy. Like, look how long it is behind his car. It's so crazy. It's fucking.
It's and I mean, not that we need to like, you know, go back in the video, but see that like trail of whatever its leaves on the road there, like that trail I had noticed starting like a couple, like half a mile or so before that on the road, and the trail is going back and forth across both lanes of traffic, and there was like a couple like little signs down. Just,
Yeah, that's
see
not
some crazy shit up
good
there.
too. You mean you're making obstacles for people that are driving, especially if you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
If you're on a motorcycle and you're coming around there,
Oh,
and you
you're
hit
killing.
that dirt.
You're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
legit. Like motorcycles don't want sand on the road.
Yeah,
They just don't.
yeah.
And you're putting it on the road 100% with that stupid.
Motorcycles also just don't want to get clotheslined by logs and chains.
Man, my buddy wiping out on a turn on some sand was one of the major reasons why I was taking motorcycle safety classes. I was trying to get my license, and I was going to get me and a couple of my friends from Fear Factor. We were going to get motorcycles. A couple of guys that worked there, and then as things went on, we were like, "Fuck this." A couple of two of them went through with it. Two of us bailed.
Alonzo Bowden is all about the bikes.
All about the bikes.
Yeah.
Driving
And how many
everywhere.
bones has he broken?
I don't know how. Is he
Didn't
broken?
he broke his arm on a bike couple years ago?
I bet he did.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to think it's a bad risk in terms of
I
reward.
ride a scooter. I have a little Yamaha scooter that I ride around Venice and running errands and going to my office and stuff. Like, because I can lane split and it really makes my life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm terrified. I had a motorcycle and I rode it in the canyons maybe 4 or 5 times. I was terrified. I have no problem pushing a car, you know, a little bit in the canyons, but on a bike, like that gravel, it's like, wing! No thanks.
It's really fun. I get it, motorcycle people. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're just braver than me.
Yeah,
I've
or
gone
dumber.
through I've gone through a lot of surgeries. I know what it's like to rehab from a serious injury. I'm like, I am just so not into that.
Yeah. I've had 2 back surgeries in the same spot.
Yeah.
So
you've had those disectomies,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. How was that? Did it work for you?
yeah. First one lasted like 11 years, and then my bad decisions led to it being re-injured, and the second surgery's fine. I'm in the best shape now that I've been in like 10 years. So that's
What are you
probably-
doing?
I do 7 days
That's
a week
awesome.
of cardio.
Congratulations.
I built a gym in my house.
Ooh.
I did.
7 days a week of cardio.
Yeah, I got one of those arc trainers. It's awesome.
Is that like a sort of like an elliptical
It
machine?
is. It's like the
Yeah.
hardest elliptical machine I've ever used.
Really?
And it's I do like 45 minutes a day on that.
I used one of those really recently. It was great.
It's amazing.
That was
I had
really
a
good. Was it a
pre-core
hotel
one
room?
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a hotel.
Pull up a video of that bad boy.
It's like a hotel quality
Yeah.
deal.
So no pounding. You're getting your cardio in, but your body's not getting beat up.
And I'll in 45 minutes I'll burn, according to the machine. I don't know how accurate these machine counters are, but I'll burn like 850 calories in 45 minutes. And then I do 3 days a week of weight training for an hour.
So you're getting in daily doubles 3 days a week?
Yeah, and I haven't had a cigarette since October 2016.
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah, the arc trainer. I have the one with the arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy behind him's got the arms, it looks like.
It's a serious workout, man. I sweat.
It is a really good workout.
Yeah.
It really is.
So and then I do speed bag. I'll do 12 minutes a day on speed bag, which I like.
I just like that you could do. That's how you hurt your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about tendon issues. Folks who's never had tendon issues, and I never had them until this elbow. I mean, I've had it on elbows before, but I did it smart, and I didn't keep working out. This time I tried to meathead my way through it.
Yeah.
Again, and it flared up pretty bad to the point where 4 months later it wasn't healed.
It's a slow healing thing, right?
Super slow with tendons. They don't have any blood supply. So I got a bunch of shit done.
Is that why the platelet-rich plasma works so well?
Yes.
Because it just gets it right in there?
It's very effective.
Yeah.
The other thing that's, I think, the most effective is what we were talking about is those Thera Bands. And actually, it's the cheapest. No, that's the twisty blue thing that I use. It looks like a big avatar dildo, and you hold it out in front of you. I wish I had it with me. And then you twist it like that.
Yeah.
And then I hold it like this, and then I let it untwist.
Yeah.
So
I just got one.
And then you and when you do the untwisting, it strengthens. For me, that was my issue.
You're on the inside. I'm on the outside, so I go the other way.
Yeah, there's another one they'll show. They have diagrams for different things you could do. But
it's a big difference.
But it's just those kind of muscles don't get strengthened a lot. My muscles in my hands are picking things up, and I'm doing chin-ups and rows and stuff like that, but I was never doing anything twisty. So I've started to add that.
The amount of driving I do isn't good for me.
Right, for your back?
No, for my hands or for anything. It fucks up my whole body.
Do you put a lumbar pad or anything?
No, but most cars I drive have like real sporty, seats, and a lot of them I'm lucky enough to have adjustable lumbar. Mercedes right now is killing the seat game. Mercedes seat game is so fire.
What are they doing?
They work with this spinal center in Germany.
Oh, geez, of course
to develop all their high-end seats.
Wow.
And the seats on the S-Class, the AMG S-Class, are so ridiculous. It's like they have it. Okay, so they have a simulated hot stone massage function that works. It's boss as hell. It's like a 9-zone massage seat in the S-Class coupe.
So while you're driving, it gives you a hot stone massage?
Yeah.
What is the difference between a hot stone massage and a regular massage?
The air pockets that get inflated, it's like behind the seat, the leather,
right.
There's like these pockets of air, like old Reebok pumps, right? Where it will pump them up and inflate them and deflate them in sequence, right? To simulate kneading or whatever it is. Well, the Mercedes S-Class heats those pockets. So they're actually not with hot air, there's a thermal thing on the surface. It's so gangster.
Whoa.
It feels like a hot stone massage. It's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah.
They took it to the next level.
They have. And in fact, I got the car, it's like a $225,000 car. I got it for a week. I drove it around a road trip, all this. I ended up like writing 2,600 words on the seat. The whole review was just the seat.
The hot stone massage.
And it has the fans behind your neck that blow the hot air because it was a convertible. So it was. Yeah.
Oh, you got the convertible?
Yeah.
God damn.
That's the back seat there, Jamie. Look at go for the front seat.
God
That's
damn.
The front seats are just delightful.
It is, but it is amazing that we are in this.
See, look, there's all the zones.
Oh, that's crazy.
6 zones.
It's amazing that we are in this time where the technology has gotten to this level where cars, they're working so hard to improve upon what is already ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Especially in terms of performance.
Yeah, and have you experienced any of the semi-autonomous stuff yet?
None. No, I haven't.
I'm surprised as intellectually curious
I'm not
a
interested
person.
in cars that drive themselves. They can go fuck themselves.
You're not interested in a brief experience into the world?
I am interested.
You should
in that.
be.
I am, but for the most
Blow
part,
your
I think
fucking mind.
Those cars are going to take away our right to drive.
Oh, well, you should join the Human Driving Association, Alex.
Okay.
This is real. So we're starting a lobbying association for the rights of human drivers, and
should.
it will. It sounds like a fucking goof right now, but it'll
doesn't
matter
to me.
No,
It doesn't to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
because what we you don't want to ever have is a situation where you summon your autonomous pod and you say, take me to wherever, and it goes, no, Joe.
Yeah.
We're not going there today because of some,
Some
political
government
situation.
thing.
Yeah.
The government tells you the war on driving is here.
Yeah.
Pick your side. Oh my God. What the fuck?
And is that an RS America on the left there? I think it's a sign.
I think that is. It might be an older car by the bumper.
It's a Carrera Whaletail like my 911.
Yeah. What year is your 911?
It's an 87.
That's a good year.
We're doing a safari build.
What does that mean?
Oh.
So you're making it like one of those off-road
Rally
Porsches?
car.
A rally car?
Yeah, it's called
Oh my
the
God.
Keen Project. My friend Lee Keen is a Porsche racing driver, and he built one for himself. And it is the most glorious thing I've ever driven. Oh. And it's everything that you love about a 911 applies to this on loose surface. There it is.
That's your car?
That's not my car. My car is going to look like that, although it will be a different color and have a roof rack, and it'll be slightly different.
That thing's crazy.
That actually is a Richard Tuttle build from England.
He's
if
the
you
guy
look
that
up,
made Chris
Jamie, look
Harris's
up
car.
Keen Safari, Keen, and you'll see closer to mine.
Tuttle's the guy that made that
Yes.
crazy green car.
Oh, this is my video of driving Lee's car. And it is, see, look, I was fatter there. So it's just drifty woods oversteer, and that rear engine kind of snapback thing that everyone's all afraid of in 911s, the pendulum thing.
Yeah.
Well, you get that when you slide and then it catches and comes back. On a loose surface, there's no catch. So you slide it, but you don't have the scary snapback. It just drifts and comes back and drift. There's Lee. He's building the thing.
So it's probably really good to have a rear engine bias.
It is
Look at
brilliant. It is the most controllable, delightful, and you've got 4 inches of extra suspension travel. So LA, speed bumps, ruts. Think about this in Los Angeles, right?
So you're going to drive this rally car around LA?
Yeah. It's not a race car. It's a street car.
Wow.
It's a street car, yeah. And then,
That looks like so much fun, driving that in the dirt.
Oh, my God. We have so much desert here. No one cares. You go out
That's
to
right.
El Mirage, there's trails, there's no speed limits. Nobody gives a shit.
I got to be honest, there's 2 videos that made me get really interested in older Porsches. One of them was the Chris Harris build with the Tuttle, and the other one was you driving that Project Nasty car.
Joey Seeley. He's a local as well. Yeah.
That car, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just like get it down to the raw dog.
Yeah, he took everything out of that car. And Richard Tuttle, who did Chris's car in England, is like the rally, master. He's like there's a Project Nasty. And there's Joey who built it.
And he also, I loved the little things he did, like make the exhaust come through the rear bumper and those funky wheels on it, and the fact there's no carpeting at all. Like everything inside was stripped away.
His Instagram is Emotion Engineering, and that car has been through a few changes since this video was made. It looks a little different now.
He changed the wheels, right?
Different wheels, there's a bunch of different stuff, but it's amazing. And that guy, he used to be a part of this business, BBI Autosport. He left to go start his own business, Emotion Engineering, and he is a master of chassis setup.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
That's a very, very impressive video. It's a very interesting video. And that's not like the highest horsepower vehicle, right?
No, it was really light, though. I think it was...
How many horsepower did it have?
If I remember, maybe 375, 380. I mean, it was fast.
Right.
It was not a slouch at all. But,
Right.
Have you seen what Singer is doing now with this air-cooled engine?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, you sent me that whole thing of the price difference between a 911 engine, air-cooled engine that's got 200 horsepower versus one that's got 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Yeah, the exponential curve of Porsche horsepower costs is really scary
The
stuff.
highest end was $250,000?
Yeah, so it was like, okay, if you to buy an engine, just
Right.
an engine on a stand, you want that engine. This is Porsche air cooled, so a Porsche engine for a Porsche that is earlier than 1995. 300 horsepower is going to run you about 40 grand, and that's a ton of money for not a lot of horsepower. 400 horsepower will run you about 100 grand. I mean, 100,000. That's an engine on a stand, nothing else.
Right.
You want 500 horsepower out of that motor, it's $250,000.
Just for the engine.
Just for the engine.
Why is that? Because that sounds so crazy in comparison to other cars.
Because a lot of techniques that you would use to make horsepower in other cars, you cannot apply to a Porsche engine. You're limited on displacement size. So it's not like you could shove like a 9-liter V8 in there. Like a 4.2 is about as big displacement as you can get in that case. And that's with like a stroker crank and bored out, so you're increasing both the length the pistons move and the size of the hole. To get to the 500 horsepower mark, you have to run some highly experimental cylinder heads. And Singer, to do that, I don't know if Chris has been on the show recently, but he's working with Singer to develop, there's a company called Williams that is a Formula One team. They are developing the cylinder heads for Singer.
So Chris Harris is a part of this as
He's
well?
doing development driving for them.
Oh, that's great.
Which is a good decision, right?
Oh, that's an amazing decision. Yeah. Plus, the videos will be epic.
Right. So most of, they're doing a 4-valve air-cooled head, which, as far as I know, has never been done before. All your engine, my engine, all the are 2-valve engines, and they're doing a 4-valve engine. So,
it's going to cost $1.5 million.
Well, the engine is $250,000. This is why. Yes.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, custom cars are $1 million now. Isn't that nuts? I mean, if you really want something next level, it can easily be $1 million.
Jamie, pull up that new Singer 911.
Yeah, Singer 911 with the Williams engine.
It's green.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of that. Who's the Japanese gentleman who takes those Porsches and stretches them out? RWB.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that to it.
Well, so RWB is really interesting because in Japan, there's the Singer.
Don't you think that's a goddamn gorgeous car?
Yeah.
But don't you think it's an odd choice to artificially different? Stop, please. Keep right.
Look how sexy that is.
To artificially differentiate, like the way he's got the fender flares. He's making them like he had to glue them on. But the whole car is carbon fiber. So if the whole car is carbon fiber, why did they fake like they had like extensions?
Okay,
on the
so
wheel
I don't want to
wells?
disappoint you, but that is a rendering and not a picture of an actual car. Wow. As far as I know,
Really?
the actual car does not
so
exist.
Good.
And I think, if I had to guess, they put those over fender lines on the rendering so you would specifically notice that they have widened it.
That could be.
If I had to guess, the final car may not actually have a seam there.
You know what, man? I'm not mad if it does. It looks amazing. Jamie, can you make that bigger again? But that looks so real. That's crazy that that's not a photograph. Does that look like a render to you, Jamie?
I'm almost certain that's not a real car. I'm almost certain it's not a real car.
The tire looks a little.
The tire looks fake?
I could be wrong. There could be someone screaming at their whatever right now saying I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure
reflections in the window.
They are good at this now. Have you played fucking Forza in the last 3 years? They're good at this, dude.
Well,
play a video game.
I absolutely believe it. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying it's so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, if they make a car like that, holy shit, that's a gorgeous car.
Oh, yeah. And they will, and it'll look like that, but it may not have those seams.
It's pretty similar to what their car looks like. I mean,
but
it's
wider.
Not much different other than the wider. I saw one of those. It might have been the best looking car I've ever seen in my life. It was a silver, like a metallic silver, like a bright silver Singer.
Yeah.
And it was online.
Understated,
I was like,
glorious.
God damn. See if you find that bright silver Singer.
Have you seen one in person before, up close?
Never.
Dude, your mind would be blown.
Really?
They have, at a minimum, $45,000 or $50,000 of leather in one of those cars in the interior. The leather work in the interior of those cars is unbelievable. It's beyond anything from any manufacturer today.
Really? Yeah. That's it.
That's a sexy motherfucker
God
right there.
damn, that's a good looking car.
Yep. That's very, very nice.
What is it about certain shapes, right? There's
Well, what
shapes,
Singer
like,
does is they distill, the best of each generation of car into one car.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at a highly idealized 911, but you can't exactly picture what came from where and why.
Yeah.
It's gangster.
And those Fuchs, those wheels, for whatever reason, they just work. Like especially that green car. Go back to that green car, Jay.
They made them real big on the green car, but the design works so well. There's the Williams engine.
God damn,
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah.
But like that's perfect.
So scroll down, Jamie. The Williams. Look at this. So you see, look at the air intakes. That's where your rear windows would be. So there are no rear windows. There are only those air intakes that go directly into the engine.
Cool that furnace off.
That's not cooling. That's the actual air intake that gets into the combustion chamber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The cooling, it's air cooled. So you see that silver kind of nipple on the right side there? That's the center of the fan. It gets cooled in from the back there.
Now, like this is basically the same size as a regular inline six or
flat
a straight
six.
flat six.
Yeah. Roughly, the engine itself is roughly the same size. Yeah.
So what they've done is just engineer it to the maximum.
Oh yeah. Well, they have what are in theory are the most advanced cylinder heads ever put onto an air cooled 911.
That looks incredible. And they're going to stick that in a car that was originally, what, 93, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 91 to 94.
God.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, though, that there's something unbelievably appealing about those air-cooled cars that is willing to have these rich people pay $1 million, or at least the current singers, $500,000 for this car, just because you feel it more.
Yeah.
When you drive it, it's just got a feel to it.
There's a certain kind of mechanical brilliance to it that's really, really... You can't... It's incomparable, really. It's very unique.
Yeah. Well, there's something about those old cars, particularly the ones that don't have power steering. You get a thrill out of them. There's a weird thrill, even when you're not even driving fast.
Well, especially with a Porsche, when you have no power steering combined with front engine car, it sucks. No power steering when the engine's in the back is okay because the front of the car is pretty light, so you don't need too much muscle. But the 911 steering is just super, super direct.
Yeah, it's super direct, and it's just, I don't know, man. It just feels like a different thing you're doing. You know, I had a buddy that had a Volkswagen Bug growing up. Didn't have a lot of power in it, but those Volkswagen Bugs, those fucking things, like when you drive them around, they give you a little smile on your face because you're driving like this little tiny thing that feels completely connected with the road. It's not very capable. But it's like you're smiling when you drive one of those. It's
Have
like
you
you're
seen
in a little ride.
the ultimate Volkswagen is they're taking in Germany. They take the buses, the micro buses, and they chop them down so they're compressed, and they put full Porsche floor pan drivetrain. And so remember that 996 turbo you had, the all-wheel drive. So they'll put that whole floor pan on a micro bus, and they'll go to like track days and beat up on race cars. It's crazy. There, look. Seriously, look. Here's one.
That is so crazy.
Look, 530 horsepower Porsche 993 bi-turbo powered Volkswagen microbus. Same. Look at the rear window. See the intake on the rear window there?
That's so crazy.
And that's on a racetrack.
Oh my God. And it probably weighs nothing, right?
Nothing. And I mean, look what happens. God forbid you crash one of those. Oof.
Wow.
Yeah, there's crazy people out there.
I saw them taking VW Bugs and put Porsche engines in them. I know they've been doing that.
Yeah, well, the common one is the old 356 engines.
Yeah. Or no. I think someone was putting an older 911 engine in it, or a
912 engine. Yeah, the four-cylinder.
Four-cylinder, yeah.
912s are... People are paying way too much money for them.
Really?
Stop it. Yeah, they're like $30,000-$40,000.
Really?
They're so slow.
Yeah, that's a slow-ass car,
right?
They're
so slow, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have, I get that it's about feel, and 912s have feel, but at a certain point, there has to be some pace associated with your sports car.
Now, when they made those cars, it was the same shell on the outside as a 911?
Yeah, they just decontented it, cheapened everything, and then put the old engine in it.
If somebody wanted to hot rod a 912 out and put a crazy 993 engine in it and do all the suspension, it would still be a 912. Isn't that weird?
There's people that convert 912s sort of into 911s all the time.
Yeah, but people know.
Yeah. The people who care know.
But that's what's so crazy about it is that you essentially it's the same good stuff as the 911, what it looks like on the outside.
But do the numbers match? That's the thing.
But isn't it weird?
The difference with Porsche people, the difference between $40,000 and $400,000 will be the most minute, insignificant bullshit. Oh, this one was delivered with, leather-covered vents and a leather-covered fuse box and a fucking fuchsia steering wheel, and it had the lightweight glass. So that one's $400,000 and that one's $40,000. I mean, that's really what it is. That's the only muscle cars, same thing.
It's
this was
weird.
one of 4 delivered in Plum Crazy and an
Yeah.
automatic transmission on a Tuesday with a white roof and a cum stain in the back seat from the factory.
I love those auctions where you see the greed in people's eyes just going off.
The funny thing is when people they'll get in a bidding war and overpay for something by 40 grand and still feel like they won.
Yeah, they feel like they score. I don't give as long as that motherfucker didn't get it.
Yeah. I went to Barrett-Jackson for the first time ever this year.
How
I
was
had to
that?
see it in person. It's a shit show.
Is it?
It's an absolute shit show. Yeah. It's crazy. And, it's in Scottsdale and but Barrett-Jackson itself, what they don't show you on TV is that you can buy anything there. Like you can buy they had jet turbine powered fan boats.
Whoa.
That you could buy. Like it's like the auction and then like a mile of swap meaty shit. And you could buy custom made cowboy boots and Tempur-Pedic beds and home furnishings and terrible art and watches and massage chairs, anything you could think of.
Whoa.
It was just such a sea of commerce.
Damn.
And there's like a lot of cars that don't make TV that are either amazing or very, very sad in their own ways.
What do you have to do to get in there? Do you have to? Is there like a qualification thing?
To just walk in?
No, to set a car in there.
Oh, you go on their website and apply to sell a car. I don't think there's any. I think they're happy to take your money and try and sell your car. I don't think there's any restrictions.
A guy like Eric Andre from going there with like a Pinto.
I don't know. I don't think anything other than
filming it.
someone figuring out the joke before he did it, but I don't think much.
Wow.
I think you could probably do it.
But for the most part, it's people that are pretty serious about cars.
It was a lot of dealers. It was a lot more dealers that seemed like they were selling to each other in terms of the actual buying and the selling. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of NASCAR jackets out there. A lot of NASCAR jackets. And then you see they have some of the higher end auctions too, which sort of resemble the Pebble Beachy ones.
Do you still have that crazy Corvette?
Sold it. Oh. I have a crazy Mustang now.
What'd you get? Oh,
It's a Fox
wide
body. Yeah. It's on the cover of CarCraft this month.
Ooh.
And it's in Speed Hunters as well. They did a great article in it in Speed Hunters.
That is a ridiculous car.
It's awesome.
That's a
I heard
car that's
Rutledge
worth
on your show, and you guys were
almost nothing.
shitting on Fox bodies. You or him called it like the worst piece of shit ever. Fuck you, Rut.
But why'd you decide to soup up that car?
Because it was a car I wanted in high school, but like couldn't have. It's It's a high school. The high school reliving car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, over the top. Imagine pulling up to high school with that thing. If you could go back in a time machine.
Bro, I went to my actual 10-year high school reunion in a orange Lamborghini as a goof, and there was literally not a single soul outside when I parked it up front. 0 people saw my arrival. It couldn't have been more wasted.
Shit. Isn't that funny? Like, that's what you want, a car like that. It's like 80% arrival.
Yeah. 100% arrival.
It's just
100%.
pulling up and getting out.
If they see the Lamborghini, there's my Mustang.
There
If
it
you see
is.
the Lamborghini on the way out of the reunion, it's really lame.
It just was not the best looking year.
No, look, I have the notchback, and the notchback is better. Mine was a police car.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a highway patrol car.
Wow.
See, that's the notchback there.
Yeah.
And
it was cheaper to get those. I remember you can get the 5.0 engine.
right
with
in that. And
Yeah.
the point of that is the police cars were the lightest ones. So no air conditioning, no sunroof, no fog lights, no power windows, no power door locks. So
Really?
that was the lightest V8 powered Mustang ever made. Look at my interior. That's legit.
Oh,
I love
dude.
crazy fabrics so much.
That interior is badass.
It's Cholo fantastic.
I actually like it. I thought I would hate that.
No, it's like 70s outdoor patio furniture.
Keep that image back up there, Jamie. I like the.
We're getting Joe an
What is
interior
this?
today.
I don't know. I could never go like that. But just leave that there. Like the gauges, man. Everything you did there.
Porsche style steering wheel,
I love it.
prototypo.
I love that. I love the shifter. Is that a Hearst?
Yeah, Hurst shifter, and then the center tray in between the Recaro seats is from a 73 Mercedes, a 280.
Wow.
And then the pattern came from Modern Fabrics, and it's like a outdoor patio furniture fabric, so it's like UV resistant and spill resistant.
What are those wheels, Jamie? Click on those wheels on the right hand side. What are the wheels?
The wheels, I have they're HRE RS 105s, which is
Dude,
a
that looks
3-piece
great.
forged wheel, and I'm running 295 tires at all 4 corners, so they're 18 by 10.5 at all 4 corners. They're awesome
That
wheels.
must handle amazing.
Oh, it sticks like a GT3. It turns in so hard, and I'm running. The tires are Sport Cup 2s, which are like the GT3 tires.
And what does this car weigh, you think?
3110 wet.
Wow.
So it's pretty good. It's got really good brakes, really good handling. It's medium fast. It's about 350 horsepower, so it's quick enough.
Are you going to leave the engine the way it is?
Well, it has a crate motor in it,
Right.
which it could use some more. Could use a little more.
Yeah.
And so if I keep the car long term, I'm going to take out that engine and put in the GT350 engine. Yeah. If I keep the car long term.
How many horsepower is a GT3?
525. But it revs to 8,200. That's what it's really about.
Yeah. No, I heard one of those in a video.
It's the
And I
greatest.
was like, that doesn't sound anything like a Mustang.
It doesn't. It sounds like it's something more Italian almost.
Yeah, I was going to say like a Ferrari almost.
Yeah. Well, they do a different firing order, and they also, I think it's, someone's going to harem me if that's wrong, but the flat plane crank changes the sound.
GT350 exhaust, 2018 GT350.
It's pretty glorious.
Yeah. Well, I'm terrified that they're going to come out with that GT500 and I'm going to fall in love.
It could happen.
I'm going to fall in love.
It could happen. It has a very, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. No, I think you have one of my videos open in the background, Jamie, because I'm hearing double.
God damn it, Jamie.
No,
You
that's okay.
son of a bitch.
Listen, but
Look at that. Oh, that sounds so good.
yeah, it's very unlike anything else on the road. Very distinctive. So that's one of the most special engines.
How
in a
heavy is
very
that
long-
car?
3,700 pounds. They're all heavy.
Why can't anybody figure that out? That
Because
if you
people
make a
want
lighter
features. People want features.
car- right. Everybody, though. Some people don't want that. That's why people like you and I are so fascinated by something like Singer.
Light
we don't
things are
want to spend that
expensive.
kind of money. But
You can't have light and cheap and fast. You gotta pick one. If you want light and cheap, it's your Miata. You know, you can't have a. If they had a 3,000-pound Mustang that had the features that people demand from a modern car,
Yeah.
it would be $200,000. You'd have a Ferrari. You know,
Yeah, but even Ferraris aren't that light anymore.
that's true. That's true.
Nothing's like. Well, what is the
Nothing's-
lightest thing you could buy? Like a Porsche Boxster?
There's the
like
Lotus Evora. Evora 410 is under 3,000 pounds, I think, which is a really, 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 really nice car.
I drove that little one, the little
The
Lotus.
Exige.
Yeah, I drove that a few years back.
Yeah.
I
The
just
Evora
didn't
doesn't
have any-
beat you up like that does.
It didn't have any horsepower though. It was very
The Evora 410 has
the
a
other
lot.
one. No, not the
Exige?
Evora, the Exige. Yeah, the one where it doesn't have any floor panels, doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
I was like, this is kind of interesting because it's like
Add
like
lightness.
a little go kart.
That's Lotus's thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I drove. That's the Evora Sport 410. I just drove that, and
That's
it's
a pretty
really,
fast car.
really good. Yeah, it's
Right?
really nice.
And that's also a manual transmission.
It
right?
is, yeah.
thanks
It's a
to
supercharged
baby Jesus.
Camry engine, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
How many horsepower?
410.
Supercharged Camrys. That's a beautiful car, man.
It's really good looking, and it's
Wow,
got
look
a
at that thing.
It's
That's
got a
so unique
titanium
looking.
exhaust.
God, that's so unique.
You know, in a sea of 911s, it does stand out.
Wow.
You would like that car, I think.
God damn
That
it.
that would be a good one for you. Like you need another one.
That's a pretty car too, but that's the other one.
That's the lease, yeah.
Yeah, the Elise is the one that I drove, that gray one that you just clicked on, Jamie. I drove that. That's a beautiful looking car, but it's got no balls.
No. But
I
you
was
can
so stunned. I was like, this is crazy how slow this is.
they made some you might have driven the smaller engine one. They made some that were a little faster.
Really?
Yeah, the base one was like 180 horsepower and then they go up to 260 or 280.
But there's something thrilling about it. I'll
Oh,
give
it's
it
like
that.
driving a flea.
Yeah. It's so how much does that thing weigh, you think?
2,500 or something. It's
Yeah.
light. It's
Feels
very
like
light.
nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
And it's beautiful. They just make beautiful cars.
Those Lotuses are that they will be $30,000 used cars until the end of time. The
Really?
Elise, yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely bottomed out at 30 grand, and you can buy them and sell them at 30 grand all day.
Isn't it funny how cars were worth almost nothing, and then like a '73 RS America, not it wasn't an RS America.
No, just an RS.
An RS. '73 RS is worth like $1 million now.
Yeah.
It used to be worth $20,000 just a few years ago. Like, how did that happen? I remember I saw those for sale, and someone was saying this is the perfect Porsche. It's not the most powerful.
Right.
It's only like 225 horsepower or something like that, but it's so light and so fun to drive. And I was like, get the fuck out of here with 225 horsepower.
Well, it's like, you know,
That
the
thing right
world
there.
the world has become more automated, right? Everything is faster, more efficient, but less involved and less mechanical. And at the same time, you've got, especially with Porsche, a younger audience, a very wealthy audience, you know, that has really decided to use the older collector cars as a currency that you can drive and investments. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of rich people out there right now.
And they're not making any more 1973 911s.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that people have a real problem with Singer, is they're taking those cars and they're chopping them the fuck up. They're taking a 964 and just chopping the shit out of that
Yeah,
bitch.
they're taking a $100,000 car and turning it into a $500,000 car.
Yeah.
That if you can get on the list and get one, and you take it home, it's immediately worth $700 on the open market.
I bet, right? Because people don't
Oh
want
my
to wait
God,
a year.
the flipper market for a Singer, it's like you name your price. Name your price.
If you wanted to get a Singer made, how many years is even his waiting list?
2 years, 3 years.
So
I mean,
2
who
years,
knows?
3 years for a waiting list, and then a year to make the car.
Yeah.
And they're making it by hand with carbon fiber. It's crazy. I've seen the videos of people visiting the factory where
It's
they're
not
putting
far
it together.
from here. You should go.
I should go,
It's
but I'm
very-
scared. I don't want to go in there.
I'll introduce you. They're very chill.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll start doing numbers in my head. Yeah,
It's just all this. I mean, and then there's a whole cut. Singer, I think, not to dwell on Singer so much, but they opened the door for a sub industry below them that's doing $200,000 builds that are like halfway to Singer. You know,
that's for most people. That's probably like that's what I'm
most
looking
people
for.
that's really fucking excessive.
Yeah.
Most people. I bought, I'm doing this safari thing, but I bought my '87 Carrera and it's stock. And I almost didn't want to start modifying it because it was just such a nice thing to drive around.
Yeah.
It was just lovely.
Well, that's recent enough where they have like good brakes.
Yeah.
And it's a super light car. So you know.
80s is good.
Yeah.
I think the what's great, there's a series of shows now called Radwood. which is
Radwood?
Yeah, it's a car show for 80s and 90s cars. It's fucking great, dude. It's great because these are cars you can drive.
Right.
They have air conditioning. They have reasonably, modern whatever. You could just start them up and drive them. And, dude, it's like old 80s Benzes and just this great scene of 80s and 90s cars at Radwood. They've got a bunch of shows around. Come out and say hi. I'm at a bunch of them. But, people like my age, I'm 36, are seeing these cars as collectible now, and it's going to usher in a new market. Dude, there's a lot of good investments to be made in 80s and 90s cars right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's a
have?
Redwood.
That's crazy. These are good looking cars.
Dude, there's the mint, this is like an 86 Acura Legend that looks mint.
A buddy of mine had an Acura Legend just like that. He loved that thing.
My first car was an '87.
Is it an 87 Legend?
Yeah.
That's a great car.
One car that I had that I wish I didn't get rid of.
Look at that Prelude. It's so clean.
I had the last year of the NSX.
Oh, really? The 02?
Yeah, with the headlights fixed,
Yeah.
the fixed headlights.
You shouldn't have gotten rid
Shouldn't
of it.
have got rid of it.
It's a big dollar car right now. It's a hot item.
Loved it. I loved it too. That was a light ass car. I don't know what those things weighed.
28, 29. I'll tell you what, if you like that car, that
Loved it.
Lotus 410 I just showed you, you would love that.
Really?
That is the new version of that car.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know if I want the new version though.
Well,
I think I like the old version. That's the thing.
no, the new version feels like the old version,
Oh,
but
yeah?
with like Bluetooth.
Oh, with Bluetooth. Yeah.
And your basics.
That's
There it is.
Right there. Fuck, that was a great car. So light.
They're they're durable. You can drive them.
Yeah.
People put miles
it's a
on
Honda.
them. Yeah.
I mean, how did they figure it out so much better than the Americans did when it came to reliability?
Well, they just built a light car and then put their Accord engine in it, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean all their cars. I mean, look, you go through across the board. Like we were talking earlier about Land Cruisers. That's like got to be one of the most reliable cars in the history of the free world. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck are they so good at that? And most companies, like American companies, during that same age, like you get a 1990s Ford.
No, I know it's terrible.
Good luck if that thing's still running.
Right? Yeah, I know.
But 1995 Land Cruisers are driving through Africa right now.
Land Cruisers are an interesting example specifically because I went on the press launch for a Land Cruiser, so I know this. Most cars are built to a 10-year service life. The Land Cruiser is built to a 25-year service life. The Land Cruiser's parts are almost 100% unique to Land Cruiser. They share very few parts with anything else in Toyota's lineup, and that's why you go, oh, it's a full-size SUV. Why is this thing $90,000? Because everything on it is industrial-grade shit designed to last twice as long as like any other car.
Yeah, it seems like it when you're driving one too.
Tanks, absolute tanks, and they're over-engineered. But I think in the 80s and 90s, I think the Japanese design and production philosophy was just so far beyond where we were.
Yeah, we were making shit during those years.
Garbage. Absolute. I mean, I have an 88 Mustang. You just saw. I have an 87 Porsche, and I had a 1990 Nissan Skyline GTR. The Porsche and the fucking Skyline are same time period.
Yep.
They're spaceships compared to the hunk of shit that is my Mustang. I mean,
those Skylines are badass,
they're
man.
awesome. Skylines are super
manual?
cool. Yeah. I sold it, but I doubled up in 6 months though. They're hot.
Well, think about what they did with the GTR when Nissan came out with the GTR,
the newest one,
newest one, dude. I've only driven one of those twice, but one time when I drove one. The most remarkable thing about it was I was taking a turn to hit an off-ramp, and I was like a little late. I was like, oh, that's the light. I got to change lanes. And it just went like this, across the lanes. Zip.
Yep.
Like nothing. There was no lean. There was nothing. It just defied physics.
Yeah.
I was like, this thing's crazy. It's calculating how much mass is leaning this way and adjusting to flatten everything out electronically.
So actually the new Acura NSX, that's like the supercar-y one, it's like 150 grand, does that same thing that the GTR did in 09, but it does it much more seamlessly, so you think you did it.
Really?
Yeah. That awesome driving that just happened, in the GTR, you're like, wow, the GTR is doing all this awesome shit.
Right.
In the NSX, you're like, I'm a fucking hero. Because it's so seamless. Like the GTR, it's a mechanical, all-wheel drive system with these clutch packs and whatever. So you can hear it like clunk, clunk, clunking around and like moving power and doing all this shit, right? The NSX is rear-wheel drive gas engine and then electric motors in the front wheel. So it can do all kinds of funky shit with the front wheels. The two wheels can be going completely different speeds from each other. It's completely independent of what's happening at the back. It's all this computer algorithms, but it's magic front end. Wow. It's front end that cannot happen within the constraints of like normal rotational physics.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, you should work for Acura.
I should sell cars.
You should. You got my dick hard for an NSX.
It's a good buy right now. People don't want them. They're cheap.
Why?
I don't know. Because they're not like the old one, like you said. You want the old one. And people want it to stick and simple, and it's complicated and...
But if people were looking for a double clutch supercar, that seems to be a really good bargain. It's a great looking car.
It is. I had one for a week and it was awesome. Awesome.
And apparently the power seems very accessible, right?
Sorry, I'm very thirsty. Okay. It's very forgiving and very easy to drive, and it makes you feel like Mario Andretti.
I hope they don't not make them anymore. I get paranoid.
I think they've got to make them for a bit. They've committed, but I think you should buy one if you think you might like one.
I felt a tinge of responsibility when the Viper went out of business that I never bought a Viper because they're so preposterous. It's such a preposterous car.
It is.
Like I thought about getting one of those ACRs with the wings and the vented hoods and shit like that. I'm like, just because it's such a douchebag car.
Yeah,
so
but
ridiculous.
It seems like if you were to list off like the check boxes of things that you personally enjoy, it seems like it does actually tick most of those boxes.
It's in there.
Yeah, aside from totally looking like a penis. Besides that, it really ticks the rest of the boxes.
Yeah, it looks like Godzilla's dick. It looks like this sort of like super space age automatronic.
Yeah. It's very Shredder.
But it's so American, too. It's such a ridiculous thing to build.
Well, what's so American about it is that rather than, Porsche developing this insane gearbox, that can shift in a microsecond, and Nissan doing this crazy fucking all-wheel drive system, and whoever Acura doing their torque vectoring electric motors. Viper's just like more downforce. We don't know. Manual gearbox, just more downforce, develop the stickiest tire you can find. Here, you can pop these things out and get even more downforce. And that's like the whole thing.
Yeah,
just
the whole
wings.
thing.
Just put wings on it, and that'll be fine.
But meanwhile, they brought it to every racetrack, and every racetrack they were breaking records.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the most American thing ever.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all, I just bought a bigger gun.
Exactly. It's the biggest 50 caliber machine gun ever.
Desert Eagle 5.0,
Woo!
yeah.
It's America. It's a big old American dick.
It's super America.
Yeah, but then they stopped making them. I'm sad.
Because America isn't necessarily commercially viable sometimes.
Come on. The age of Trump, I think you can bring it back. Bring it back.
Vipers for everybody.
Vipers for
Every
everybody.
coal miner gets a Viper. A job in a Viper for every coal miner.
It's the most preposterous American car. Would you agree?
Ooh, well, we have some preposterous vehicles
Sure.
here in America. I mean, the fact that you can get a pickup truck version of an Escalade is pretty funny.
They do that still?
I think they may have stopped. I think
they
I may have
stopped
stepped on my own joke, but
that's okay.
Let's see, preposterous. Yeah, it's up there. It's pretty.
Yeah.
The Ford GT is pretty preposterous in a
Yeah.
very good way.
That's a supercar though.
It's extremely super.
Yeah. And that's is John Cena in trouble for selling his Ford
I
GT?
don't think so. I don't think the contract is enforceable.
You don't think so?
I'm just going by what I've read.
Tell people what the story is.
So to get one of the new Ford GTs, right? It's what's called a homologation race car. Okay, so they wanted to go win the 24 Hours of Le Mans in a certain class, the LMGTE class. In order to race in that class, it has to be a street car, right? So you have to build a certain number of street cars. You can't just build a dedicated race car. That would be called the prototype class. Okay, so they had to build, I think the number is 499. It's 400 and something, 450, 499, whatever it is. Ford decides that the demand will outstrip the supply, and they're, rather than, highest bidding or whatever, they make you like apply. So you have to be a social media star or a celebrity or someone. You had to like tell them why you should have a Ford GT and what you were going to do with it and how you were going to share your Ford GT with the world. And then they would decide that you had earned the right to buy their $450,000 car.
Jesus.
And it came with a contract that you couldn't sell it for 2 years. They didn't want people flipping them.
Right.
Which apparently is exactly what John Cena went and did, and flipped his GT for an unspecified amount of
must
money.
be so fucking rich. Like, why would he violate the contract for a couple
I've
hundred
never
grand
met
or
John
whatever
Cena. Is
someone
he
gave him?
huge? Is he a very
person?
huge person?
He's enormous.
How huge is he? Like
He's
height?
so
would you
enormous. Well, he's just enormous, like width. I bet he's probably only like 6'3" or 6'4".
All right, if he's 6'4", he can't fit in it. So if he took delivery and can't fit in it, that's probably why he would get rid of it rather than sit on it for 2 years.
How tall Mr. Cena is. But
I'm
he seems
6'2",
like
and my
a
head
guy-
hit the ceiling.
Oh, that's probably exactly what it is. He's probably 6'2" at least. He seems like a guy who should be even longer and taller than he is because he's so thick. It's almost like they chopped off a foot of his arms in every place.
That's
He's
funny.
a giant, but his wrists are like fucking tree trunks.
Hilarious.
6'250".
Yeah. See,
Oh,
so he probably
it'd be close. It'd be close. but-
6'2" or 6 foot.
6'250".
Oh, wow, he's shorter
He's
than
shorter
I
than I
thought.
thought.
Well, I don't know why he sold it, but he did.
Well, maybe even for him, if it's 2 inches for you, maybe he
Yeah.
felt squashed in there.
Look, I drove it for one day. I don't know what kind of sacrifices to buy it, but I
short
think
little
he
fuck like me might be a good car.
be good for you. So the seat is fixed, and the pedals and steering wheel are adjustable.
Oh.
You can't adjust the seat.
How bizarre.
Yeah,
The pedals come to you?
yeah.
I don't think I like that.
That's what you got to do, man. It's what you have to do because the shape of
can't
the
you?
car dictates the seat back angles a bit.
Can't you just make the seat slide? Put the seat on
It
some
isn't
rollers.
like a seat. No, you can't. The car's so low. A seat rail is like inches, precious inches.
Precious inches.
Yeah,
Got
dude,
it.
the roof is 43 inches from the ground. That's like this.
Whoa. That's
It's
the roof?
so low.
It's that low?
It's 43 inches. It's from the roof to
That's
the
crazy.
ground. Yeah, compared to all the car. It won Le Mans, by the way, in the year it was supposed to.
Wow.
You park it next to a 911. a 911 is like 6 inches taller than one of these things.
Whoa.
That makes a really big difference in the 24 hours of Le Mans.
Oh, sure.
You're talking 200 mile an hour straightaway speeds. Like, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So they've designed the car without seat rails to get everything even further down, you know?
It's a dope looking car. I saw one that was black with red stripes.
That was the press car.
Is that
that
what
was
it
the
was?
one I was driving around. Yeah. Leno's got the same color, too.
God, that's a pretty car.
It's gangster.
That's a pretty car.
Carbon fiber wheels, which are lovely. Carbon fiber wheels. So there's two kinds of weight in a car. There's sprung weight and unsprung weight.
What's that mean?
So sprung weight is weight that is most of what you think of as the car. The engine, the body, anything that is sprung on the suspension.
Okay.
Unsprung weight is weight on the car that is not sprung on the suspension. So wheels, brake rotors, tires, suspension components that aren't sitting on the suspension, right? So it's like a rough calculation, but like roughly 1 pound of unsprung weight will translate the feeling of 5 pounds of sprung weight. So meaning like if you are able to pull 20 pounds of unsprung weight out of your car, each wheel is 4 pounds or is 5 pounds lighter than a stock wheel, okay? So you're now about 20 pounds unsprung weight out of your car. Your car will feel like you pulled 100 pounds out of it.
Wow.
And it will stop, start, accelerate, turn better, totally. It'll perform better in all areas. So to go from a forged aluminum wheel, which is 23 or 24, 25 pounds a wheel, to a carbon fiber wheel that's like 11 pounds a wheel, you're pulling so much unsprung weight out of the car, it'll feel like, you know, swinging a baseball bat with a weight on it and then just throwing that weight away.
Wow.
Yeah. Massive, 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 massive difference. And the wheels are so expensive.
I would imagine, like, how many companies make carbon fiber wheels?
One.
Oh
They're
my
called
God.
Carbon Revolution, and they're from Australia.
And do they only make them for the Ford
They
GT?
make them
or?
you can buy the wheels. They have fitments for a few different cars. Porsche GT3 is one. And they make them for Ford.
Will you do me a favor, Jamie, and pull up the photo of that black Ford GT with the red stripes?
It's on my Instagram if you have my Instagram handy, the one I drove.
Fuck, man. That
It's
car,
an incredibly, the road presence is just obscene. And it makes noises that only, there
Look
it
at
is.
that thing. God damn.
It makes noises that only race cars make. There's a specific sound, like, you know, the pops and crackles you get from most of these modern cars when they dump the fuel in the exhaust and shit. And it's cool, but it's a synthetic-y sound. It's programmed.
Right.
This does that not programmed. It's just like fuel into header bang.
Wow.
It's just so race car. It's so nice.
And this goes for like $500,000,
Yeah, $450 if you can get one,
but you can't get one.
but you can't get one.
Unless you know John Cena.
And then the rumor is he got like over $1 million for his, but
Oh, so somebody ordered off. Well, that makes sense.
he flipped it. Yeah, he flipped it. Yeah.
And so they're suing him.
Yeah,
Why
I
would they do
read
that?
that it was thrown out. They sued him for breach of contract for selling it.
Yeah.
But he claimed that the contract didn't say he couldn't sell it.
Oh. So was it a verbal agreement or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was one of those things they just hoped nobody would call him out on, and maybe it's unenforceable. You know, I mean, how do they sell you something and then enforce that you can't sell
ridiculous.
the thing you bought? You know?
You can't do that. You literally can't do that. I don't think that's enforceable. I think once the contract is signed and you take possession of this object, that's yours to do whatever you want with.
I think it's
Yeah.
morally,
That's
I completely
America.
agree.
This is America, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But Ford, fucking hats off. You made a dope ass car. That thing's amazing looking.
It's extremely, extremely crazy.
God.
It really, it's unlike anything else on the road, because even the very, very high end supercars, you know, your Lamborghini Aventadors that are $400,000 and your V12 Ferraris and all that stuff are fundamentally, they're road cars. And even when they go racing with them, they sort of take the road car and modify it for racing. This is so clearly a race car that they had to build some street cars, you know.
Wow.
And it's fucking rocking.
It looks amazing.
It's got an air brake on it. The active.
What's that mean?
So
the
go back to the
end
rear
lifts up,
picture.
right?
Yeah. So the whole wing that whole wing that goes across the back there lifts up.
When you hit the brakes.
Well, it lifts when you start driving quick. It lifts up and becomes a wing,
Right.
and then when you hit the brakes, it flips up and becomes an actual air brake.
That's
and it is
crazy.
extremely effective.
I would imagine.
What it does is, when you brake, the car nosedives. It completely eliminates the dive, so the car just squats straight down.
Wow.
It's wild.
It's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Are they going to keep making them?
I don't think so.
Why not, Ford?
If I had to guess, they lose money on every single one they make. If I had to guess.
What kind of a bullshit war are we running here?
I know.
Trump, I thought you were going to fix all this. I thought that was part of your platform. That's what I heard. It's going to make American cars great again.
The car
that thing.
economy
Jesus.
it's
Look at
such a
that.
global economy. Like we make a bunch of, like, the Hellcats are built like in Canada. And
Yeah.
we make BMW X5s in South Carolina.
Well, we make
know?
Ford Tundras in Texas. That's
You
where they
mean a
make those.
Toyota Tundra?
Toyota Tundra,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry. Yeah, Toyotas make a couple different cars here in America, right? Hondas make a couple cars in America.
I think Japanese automakers probably have at least as many auto workers in America as American car companies do. This is definitely the same car I was driving.
Look
the press
at that
car.
thing. God, it's
What is
so
great is just
pretty.
the buttresses. Like, when it goes by, you can see right through the side of the car. You can just see the air there between the tunnel and the pod.
That's so pretty.
Yeah.
That might be the best looking car I've ever seen.
It is so cool. And it
For-
is so fast.
As far as like American cars, that literally might be the best looking car I've ever seen.
I think if it's my money, I would buy the older GT, the 2005 one, because
Yeah.
I like the manual transmission.
Sure.
And I just think that was just one of the best cars ever made.
Do you ever drive one of those?
Yeah.
What's that like?
The best.
Really?
The best.
The best.
Yeah, because this is a race car.
Right?
And everything that comes with it. That one, it was a road car, and it was, let's make the best road car we can make. And so it wasn't a particularly successful race car, but as a road car, it was just glorious. The ride and the power and the style and the sound, and they had to develop that car very quickly. I think the last time I was on this show, we were talking about Ford GTs.
I think so.
And so everything's overbuilt, so you can run like double stock horsepower, and you can run almost 280 miles an hour in the fucking mile in these things on stock aero. And
Well, people do crazy shit with them, like put twin turbos in them and stuff.
Oh, that's not even that crazy. It's expensive, but it's proven science at this point. They're not breaking
Really?
any new ground. Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually because they're supercharged from the factory, right? So they're meant to handle forced induction. So the turbo system, you take off the supercharger, and the turbo system supplants it. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's just, it runs more boost, but it's a very, very strong engine. And so they're not completely different systems. They both force air in, just they do it in different ways.
And when you buy one from the factory, how many horsepower did it come with?
550.
550 is a lot back then, too.
It's a bunch, yeah, with no traction control. That was the last car, the Viper, the same year. Viper might have had 1 year, but basically the last car without traction control.
Wow.
Or stability control, yeah. So a lot of people would crash them.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
My GT3 doesn't have shit on it.
Really?
It has
Traction control in that
I
car?
don't think so. No, it has anti-lock brakes. But I don't think it has traction control.
It really?
No, I think the next model did, because it's the RS.
Huh. I don't know. How
It's a
fortunate
very-
for you if it doesn't.
It's a very raw car.
I loved your car.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun driving your car.
They're fun cars, man.
It's great. I think maybe the next thing I buy might be an RS.
They're great.
I know.
They're getting so expensive.
I know, but it's safe money.
Well, that 2007 year too is like, that's the year.
Yeah.
The one afterwards, then they started having traction control. Make sure that's true. I'm pretty sure it's true. 2007 GT3 RS, no traction control. I'm pretty sure.
There's a period of 2000 and early 2000s up to end of 2000s where Porsche was using the engine called the Metzger engine, which traced its way back to Le Mans, and it was a very, very strong
say that.
engine. Le Mans?
Say that
You mean
legit.
correctly?
Yes.
When you say Le Mans?
Le Mans, it's like the movie with Steve McQueen.
Fucking hate that movie. That movie
you?
stinks.
Does it?
Yeah. Steve McQueen movies stink.
Wow, you are a crazy person.
Oh my God.
How dare you?
Oh my God.
I like the image of Steve McQueen. I like what he represents.
Yeah.
Like this broody, American from the 1960s. You know, like one of the last of the real men.
Yeah. I mean, I like Steve McQueen based on the photographs of him I've seen. I don't like his movies. Like,
I thought Le Mans was interesting because it was like a snapshot of time. Like, what's the other one? Oh, Bullet. Bullet's interesting. It's like you're looking at a snapshot in time. You know, it's like
Bullet is weird. It's San Francisco. Why is San Francisco so empty in Bullet?
Well, it's 'cause there was nobody alive back then. There was no tech companies. There was very few people.
Really?
I mean, traffic was nothing back then, man. Talk to somebody about what traffic was like in 1960 in LA.
Yeah.
Wasn't
I think
shit.
I just brought that up earlier this show.
Well, I moved here in '94, and I remember when I moved here, it was nothing like this.
Really?
Nothing. It's gotten 100% worse. It's like there's twice as many people here. It's what it
Fuck
feels
all
like.
of us.
It's so crazy. Like you get on the highway on a Saturday night, just heading into LA on a Saturday night,
Yeah.
and you're stuck in bumper to bumper traffic for no reason. No one's dead. There's no accident. It's just too many
volume.
cars.
I'm reading a book right now called Traffic. It's about the science of traffic, and they did a study in LA, and Saturday 2 p.m. traffic is worse than any weekday rush hour in Los Angeles.
Because everybody's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's out doing their shit.
Dude, you know, when you go to another city, like if you go to a big city like Seattle, and you're there with them and they complain about their traffic, you go, first
fuck
of all,
yourself.
shut the fuck up. Second of all, what I'm doing must be wrong then, because I'm dealing with way too many people. Like,
Yeah.
You guys have got it right. This is the right amount. Like you got a lot of people, but you don't have too many people.
Like in a medium-sized city that's not LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then traffic makes sense. It goes in, it goes out.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like here, it's just like, bleh, hence the scooter.
you want to get out before it gets all Blade Runnery.
When's that
know?
going to happen?
Well, you know, it's like those dudes like Magnus Walker who lives in downtown LA
Yeah.
with his dreadlocks and his garage
Yeah.
and his warehouse district. Those guys like that shit, right? He likes that shit. He likes being an urbanite.
I'm super fucked. I'm in Venice. When that tsunami comes, I'm super fucked.
Oh, yeah, you're right on the edge.
Yeah, it's not good for me. Not
Yeah.
looking good. All the cars are done.
There's
I'll be on my
there's
roof.
an app. What's the app that wants to give us access? The early warning app. It says you have 60 seconds before you're fucking dead, basically.
Is that what they had in Hawaii?
Well, yeah, there's an app now that's working in California. But
That's
Jamie,
it's the you're about to die?
It's an earthquake's about to hit.
Fuck.
They apparently have it, depending upon the magnitude of the earthquake, which is really scary because the higher magnitude possibility, the more time you have. So
Oh,
they can
really?
they can give you up to a minute to know your fucksville.
Dude, I'm just thinking, what can I'm thinking
How far
about
can
what
you
I
get in a minute?
Nowhere worth getting. I can get to like my closet.
Do you have stored food or anything?
I'm embarrassed that I don't. I have a list of shit I need for should probably get for an earthquake that I don't know. You must have a whole room of shit in this fucking palace of yours,
Not
right?
in here, but here I have meat in here, but I do have commercial freezers
Of course you do.
with elk
For
meat
elk,
in them.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have emergency rations, and I
Okay.
have freeze dried food. You know, that could last me a few months.
How would you physically get out of the city if you had to?
You would really be fucked.
Would you just start walking? Would you
would-
bicycle?
The
or what?
real fuck would be cars. There'd be too many cars.
Right.
There's way too many cars for. You ever see what happened when the hurricanes were hitting Texas
Mm-hmm.
and people tried to escape, or Florida? Like Florida, the last one, you can't go anywhere.
And they just get stuck on the
You
highways.
get stuck and you run out of gas on the
Yeah.
highways, and everybody's scared and desperate. It's not good. And hurricanes you see coming. This earthquake, you get 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know.
With her, I think my scooter is the what's going to save me. It's going to be
where
that.
are you going to go? You're going to go somewhere and they're going to eat you. You're going to get away. You're
I'd
going to be with a
probably
bunch of
very
survivors.
tasty. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to hunt you down.
And put me on a spit.
Yeah, they're going to keep you alive so they can eat you longer because there's no refrigeration. Just going to tie you up and cut off parts of you. Damn it. Eat it in front of you.
I'm going to come here and bust into this fucking place.
Yeah, man, that's the move. Come here. We'll help you.
I'm
It's
so
just-
about this space, dude. Who has a float tank? That is
Yeah.
so awesome.
Everybody should have one.
I agree.
I just my real concern is the mass of humans. Just the sheer number is so insane, and I don't think it's sustainable. Like this number of people that are there's never been a time ever in human history where we've had masses of people crammed into areas like we have today. in modern America.
In our urban areas, you mean?
Modern America, modern Mexico City is like that, jammed up. There's quite a few places that are like the population number is higher now than it's ever been recorded in human history, and so the population of these cities is higher than it's ever been. We've never had we've never had 20 million people in a city before in America like we do in LA. What's that, Jamie?
States with a smaller population than Los Angeles County. Is that all of them?
Almost all of them.
Like 30-something states.
Almost all of them.
Is LA County 20 million people yet? It's like 16-something, right?
It's rough. I think, but this is like on the 10 to 11 million.
It's
So we're
official
looking
count.
at this map, and it's one tiny little area of California, and it has more people in it, if it was a state, than almost every fucking state, except Florida.
That and Texas and New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Illinois.
God damn. I mean, that is just fucking bananas.
LA is so crazy. Is it?
Where
is
would
it
you
worth
live if
it?
you didn't live? No.
If I didn't live here, no, it's not worth it.
No. So where would you live if you didn't live here?
I like Colorado a lot. Colorado's a good
Colorado.
state. Mountains are good.
Yeah.
I like
Pretty.
I like Northern California, but not San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like Mount
Humboldt.
Shasta. Yeah,
Hang out
Humboldt.
with farmers, get fucked up, deal with that weird dude who keeps knocking on your door.
Yeah. You? Woods somewhere?
Colorado, I think.
Yeah.
I like Utah too. I like Utah. Utah's very underrated. Those people are very nice.
They are.
Everybody thinks Utah. They go, oh, fucking Mormons. I can't do it.
Mormons are friendly.
They're some of the nicest folks ever.
I spent like 4 months in St. George.
Where's that?
It's the very corner, southwest corner of Utah, right at the Arizona-Nevada corner.
Yeah.
And it's like the town nearest to like Zion National Park. I was doing like landscape photography for a while.
That
And so I
national
wandered
park
around.
is gorgeous.
Zion's awesome. It's so pretty. And actually,
Yeah.
if you to bring it back to cars, we had a show on NBC Sports called Drive and did a national parks. The roads through our national parks here in America are glorious.
Glorious.
Yellow Yosemite, Zion, Death Valley, Bryce Canyon all have amazing roads going through them. Yeah.
Yeah. And just the view that you get. We're very lucky here. We got a lot of cool shit.
Uh-huh. And in California, we got the best roads in America, possibly.
We got some pretty good ones. You know, that place where everybody goes to drive to fuck around, that Angels Crest Highway. God, that's pretty.
That's where I was this morning before I came
were you?
here. Yeah.
What were you driving up there?
My Focus RS. I was having fun. We adjusted the suspension, and so I needed to shake it down.
Those are fast little cars.
Very fast. I worked with Mountune on mine, so it's making 377 wheel horsepower and 455 wheel torque from a 4-cylinder. And we have an KW DDC adaptive suspension, adaptive coilovers.
That's hilarious.
Awesome. The car's very, very fast right now.
And that's a really light car too, right?
That's not so light.
No, it's not?
It's small, but it's all-wheel drive, which adds to the weight, and so it's not super heavy, but it's not a featherweight Porsche
35,
RF.
something like that.
And a little less, maybe 33, 34, but it's got a lot of stick. And Ford, the RS has this trick all-wheel drive system. You can actually power oversteer. So it's not like when the front wheels slip, you get power to the back. Like it has what they call a drift mode, which can send up to 100% of the power to the back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So they want you to get crazy.
So you can actually, oversteer it and slide it.
They
yeah.
engineered craziness into their car? Wow.
The new M5, is all-wheel drive, and the new AMG E63 is all-wheel drive, and you can electronically disconnect the all-wheel drive through a button in both of them.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you can get drifty as well.
Get drifty.
Mr. Harris
Yeah.
wanted to get drifty, whatever.
Yeah. What do you think of that new Cadillac? What is it, the A6?
Oh,
Was
what is
it
that? A CT6 with the Super Cruise, that thing?
It's the new big Cadillac that has a giant engine in it now.
Oh, it's
They're putting a 600
C-
horsepower engine. What is that thing called? CT6?
Oh my God. CT6V.
Is that what it is?
I'm going to say the wrong thing. I saw
This thing got me excited about Cadillacs.
Well, there's a CTSV.
No, not that one. It's the
There's a
the
CT6.
sedan. I think it's called the CT6.
Yeah, CT6 is their biggest one.
It's the brand new. The brand new one has a crazy V engine. I don't think
It
it's
has,
out yet.
no.
No, it's not for sale yet.
It has a twin
It's just got
turbo, like
announced.
dual overhead cam V8, which is like the most advanced General Motors engine ever. And it's going to be a Cadillac exclusive engine, which hasn't happened since, remember the North Star?
Right.
That was the last time Caddy got their own motors.
And they're making a big deal about it being Cadillac exclusive. Like, hey, Camaro, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because
Step off.
that's sort of what Cadillac hasn't had, right? You know, Cadillac, like, they actually, the CTS-V is the lightest, fastest car in its class. It has the best steering in its class. It has the most horsepower in its class.
It's an amazing little car.
They cannot sell them.
What?
They can't sell CTS-Vs. They can't sell ATS-Vs. Like,
what do you mean? No one's buying those?
No one's buying them.
Why?
I mean, I'm sure there's a few reasons, but the infotainment system, that Q system, is really pretty terrible.
Sucks fat dick.
A lot of people don't make it to the test drive because of that.
Yeah, that thing is really like a liability.
It's not good.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
I've tried to I rented an Escalade.
Yeah.
And I was going through all that shit to try to get to the navigation. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
The touch
I've had
buttons.
cars forever. I'm good at this.
I know.
I can't figure out how to get the navigation. Where's home? Where's the fucking home button?
So that's why. That's one.
Aren't they switching over to CarPlay now, where it works with Android or Apple phones?
Yeah, you can get those. Yeah,
yeah, that's
but
better.
that still doesn't get you around the touch buttons and stuff.
And the heat.
There it is, the CT8.
CT8. That looks fucking slam.
I mean, if that actually artist rendering, oh boy, that's what it's really going. That's a CT6. If it looks like that, we'll see. Cadillac has a really nice history of coming out with very bold concept cars and then not building them.
Oh, come on, Cadillac.
Seriously.
Make that.
They end up building watered down shit. Ford does it too.
Cadillac was always the car, like my, grandfather's day.
Yeah.
If you made it, you got a fucking Cadillac. Put that back up for a second, please. That thing to me looks like a modern version of what I felt like a Cadillac should be.
Well, that's not entirely different from a Bentley Flying Spur. If you pull up a Bentley Flying Spur, that looks similar. But that, again, is a rendering.
That's the best looking Cadillac I've ever seen.
It is
I know
good
it's
looking.
a rendering. Like I hope they make that
cool.
way, because that is like the best looking Cadillac I've ever seen.
It's aggressive. I mean, aggressive for American cars, aggressive sells, right? Chrysler 300 saved Chrysler.
And when I say best looking Cadillac, I mean best looking new Cadillac. That's what I mean. I don't mean like the Batmobile style old school Cadillacs, because I really feel it's unfair to compare, because
Fintails?
those are works of art.
Yeah.
I mean, like what year would that be?
Like a 57 Eldorado would be a Fintail.
Pull up custom 57.
And they're like
Cadillac.
75 feet long. Big bodies are coming up. So the slammed on bags, with steel wheels. Yeah, so there's your fins.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's a chopped roof.
Oh my God.
That one, they've really gone Batmobile.
That looks like a bat.
Yeah.
God, it's beautiful though.
But I wish you can't bring fins back, but that would be nice. Pedestrian impact and all.
Yeah.
That is hot. Ooh. That's older. That's like a 55 maybe. 57. That's a custom. God damn, that's fire.
Seville. Whew.
But would you roll big body like that? You go full big body?
I mean, you would take it out on Sunday, and then you'd go fuck this car, and then you would drive something that you could actually drive. Because part of the thrill of driving is the interaction with the road, right? And like those cars are not interacting very well.
No.
There's so much weight. You're moving them around. They're sloppy. Whereas like you got into like an old 73 Porsche, you could drive that thing. Like,
yes.
Even like stock from the factory, you could drive that thing, no problem.
Yeah. The American car, the older American cars, like you have no idea where that limit is coming. It's like I'm there. The wheel's falling off.
I'm in the trees. Woo, yeah. There was no communication in the steering wheel. Like old school electric steering is like
it's terrible.
Zero communication up there.
And I used to be so afraid of old cars, and then I started driving old European cars, and I went, oh,
it's just us.
This is how this is supposed to go.
It's just America.
Well, it's a product of their environment, right? Like in the 80s, those fucking GM guys, their chomp cigars and their off-the-rack shitty suits, they never left Detroit.
Right.
And if you go to Detroit, it's just fucking potholes and it's straight lines. And so, of course, the cars would ride like shit or would float around and not handle because there isn't a corner for 300 miles. You know, now you get the CTSV because these guys they go to the Nürburgring and test. It's a global, world now.
Yeah, it's a totally different animal.
Yeah, they in Detroit, these closed-minded morons built cars for their own city and sold them all over the world with no regard to the fact that they didn't work for shit in Italy or anywhere with corners in it.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a good point.
And it set up America. You go drive a 57 Cadillac in Detroit and you go, well, this makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
The roads are straight and
in
wide.
1957.
Yeah. How's that Beeline coffee?
This is your coffee.
Yeah.
This is really good.
It's good, huh?
And you did you go to the place where they grow
No,
it? Like,
I work with this company, Beeline Coffee, and at first they just started sponsoring my new watch podcast called Watch and Listen. It's about
you're a
watches.
watch dork, huh?
I'm a watch dork too, yeah. A logical extension from cars.
Dude, this is a delicious coffee.
And
Cheers.
so thank you. Yeah, I brought you some. It's light roast, medium body, single origin. And that's an A. Langenson watch. Thank you.
That's a watch?
That's the back of a long chronograph.
Oh, that's the back.
Yeah, the back. Yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, it's amazing. And that shit's all anything that looks like gold, that's gold.
So is that glass? Or
Yeah,
are you
sapphire
looking-
crystal.
So there's a crystal on the back and the front?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they call that a display back.
Oh, so just you could show people.
So you can admire the hardware within.
It is crazy when you look at the detail involved in one of those watches.
A lot of parallels with cars. So many. They rose up in parallel. I mean, the obvious connections of timing races and stuff like that, and wearing a machine on your wrist.
Look at that. Ooh.
That's called self-dealing, as I went to advertise my own watch for sale.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Look at that. What's that one on the far right?
That's a Panerai. That watch is called a Rattrapante, which is also known as a split seconds chronograph. So it's actually two chronographs laid on top of each other. So it would be used to measure the time differential between, say, two cars on a racetrack.
Whoa.
That's the most complicated movement Panerai makes. I think that watch is about 13 or 14 grand.
That's a beautiful watch.
Very
man.
nice watch.
It's pretty.
That was a demo. I sent it back.
You sent it back?
I sent it back. I send most of them I sent back.
Why do you send them back?
As opposed to giving them 10 grand a month for every watch.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, it's part of I have a sponsorship deal. CrownandCaliber.com.
What is it?
What
is a sponsorship deal? Like, what do they do?
Oh, well, I started this watch podcast, so they're our title sponsor. So they gave me a budget for a year, but I can also loan out watches out of their stock if I so desire, if I want to try something.
So it's like a chick trying on jewelry.
Totally.
It's jewelry for men, right?
Yeah,
It
totally.
basically is.
It is, yeah.
It's the only jewelry that you can kind of get away with.
Pretty much.
Like, if you had a fat diamond ring on, it'd be like,
I would
what's
look like
going on
a
with
total
Matt Farah?
asshole. No, but it makes sense if you have a watch. Look, that's Jonathan Ward from Icon. That was his case he brought in.
Jonathan is really into old, weird watches.
Right.
I follow his Instagram as well.
He's into old weird anything, I
He
think.
fascinates me. That guy is
He's the
fascinating
most interesting
character.
person that there is.
He's very intense.
He's like you, you guys both like just do so much stuff. I don't know where all the hours are in the day. Like, he runs his business and he makes videos, but I also see, like, every week on Instagram he'll put up like a handbag he made from scratch leather. Like,
For a
where did you
friend.
find the time for that?
Yeah.
You too. I don't know where you find the time to do all this shit.
It's an illusion. Because the time I spend here is very easy. It's just conversation. You know, it's fun. It's great. You know, having a guy like you, we get to talk cars.
I agree. It is great.
Fun. Stand-up comedy, I've done so long, it's like a part of my life.
Yeah.
It's normal. The working out stuff, it's like if I don't do it, I can't do the other things. I'll go crazy. I won't be balanced, and I want to stay healthy. So I do that.
It just seems that you seem to churn out a large volume of content, and you also travel, the UFC and all that kind of stuff, and so I don't know, it's a lot of content. You told me the universe rewards hustle once.
It does.
I have that engraved on the back of the first Rolex I bought myself.
Really? Good for you, man.
Which is from you.
That's dope.
And I sort of lived on that mantra for quite a long time until recently I actually just totally burned myself out on it a bit.
You can burn yourself out.
Yeah.
You got to be real conscious of how your body feels, right?
Well,
and that's what I like about what you've been saying, that you're doing cardio 7 days a week. And
well, that's what happened.
Weights.
I spent so much time working and focusing on, I was like, look, as long as I can stand and lift my arms, I'm going to keep making videos because this shit could all end tomorrow.
Right.
but my body completely fell apart, and so I had to go. All right, I think it's time to take care of this.
Well,
I'm stuck with it.
There's a car analogy here because this is your meat vehicle, and the difference between having a 500 horsepower engine and a 125 horsepower diesel is literally how you take care of yourself. And if you can turn your body into a race car, you really can, unless obviously you have disabilities or something's wrong with you.
Right.
But for most people, the issue is just will. It's just their will and their mind and discipline and then knowledge, understanding how to do it correctly.
And I've lost large amounts of weight several times in the past. I've lost 50 pounds, and then I lost 100 pounds, and then I lost this past 2 years another 50. So like I know how to do it.
What are you doing now differently? But
the difference with this one is
workouts.
I wanted to do it. Every time I've done it in the past, it has drastically interrupted my day-to-day life. It's like either you go to fat camp and do it, or you whatever. It takes away from something. This one, it was much more important to go. I have a job. I have a life. I have to figure out how to make this work within that life. So it's became a lot more hotel gyms. Really doing that. Really making sure to just do that shit.
Oh, when you're on the road.
Yeah, road is really hard.
Yep, it's hard with diet too. It's very hard.
I didn't change my diet that much. I just started exercising a lot. My big problem wasn't that I ate badly. It's that I would eat big meals spaced very far apart. And so my body would go into like storage mode. But now I try and eat smaller meals and more of them, and it seems to work much more efficiently.
Well, everybody's body's different, but for the most part, one of the biggest, most significant things that you can do is cut out most sugar and cut out most refined carbohydrates.
Bread is my Achilles heel.
Everybody.
I love fucking bread.
If you just cut that out, weight would fly off you.
I know.
Especially when you're telling me the volume of exercise you're doing.
I know.
Cut out the bread, cut out the sugar, you would lose ridiculous amounts of weight. Jordan Peterson was on my podcast, and he was talking about autoimmune issues that he had. And what he did was cut out everything except for meat and vegetables. That's it. And all his problems went away.
Yeah, I know. I've done the Atkins style, caveman-y, whatever you want to call it, all protein and fat, cut out and vegetables and cut out the carbs. It works. I've done it. I've lost weight, and I couldn't stick with it because I fucking love bread so much, and I just don't want to kill myself. You know what I mean? I want to. It's like growing a show or something. If the curve is going in the right direction and I'm okay pushing forward, let me just push forward. Right, I'll get there. I don't, So
well, it seems like the curve is definitely going in the right direction. The thing about saying that you don't want to kill yourself, I get it. I love bread too, and I love pasta. I'm a big fan of lasagna, and I just love Italian food. I really do. I love pizza. But I just limit to 1 day a week.
It's probably good.
1 day a week, I allow myself to eat whatever the fuck I want. And if I decide it's Wednesday night, if Wednesday night I go out to dinner and I say, you know what, man, I want the fucking spaghetti and meatballs. Let's just do this. Then that's the night. That's the night I cheat. And then the other 6 nights I eat normal.
Yeah. Dude, I respect your
It makes it feel better too when you get that cheat day.
Yeah.
Like then it really counts. If I get spaghetti with meatballs with grated Parmesan cheese over it, if I'm fucking digging in on that on whatever, Friday night, like,
just let yourself enjoy the shit out of it. Yeah.
It's glorious.
Yeah.
It's not just a regular spaghetti and meatballs because it's dinner,
Yeah.
which is normal. On Wednesday, Friday, whatever, who cares? No, it's the 1 day. The 1 day you can eat that fucking pizza. The cheese.
Maybe this is what I take home from this one. Maybe I take home the cheat day philosophy from this show.
Cheat day's good. And the other thing is your body, if you get into that habit, your body won't be craving those things anymore because a lot of the reason why you crave it is because of your gut bacteria that's being supported by that diet.
And then you sort of like go into gut bacteria withdrawals that makes you want more and blah, blah,
you get
blah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What you got to do is get your biome in check. Like start eating a lot of probiotics.
Yeah.
Like if you can stomach kimchi. I don't know if you're into that. I like the taste of it.
I like Korean food. I don't know how much I have to fucking eat, but I like
kimchi. Is a daily thing for me.
Really?
Yep. Acidophilus. Yogurt is good. If you could eat yogurt.
Fuck, do you have the time to just? I don't. To find this stuff and eat it. Yeah.
Just go to the supermarket.
I know.
It takes 10 minutes. You get some food.
I know. It's amazing. When you got to run around the city, this is why I'm surprised at how well you do it, because running around this city, you could have a whole day that's 3 activities, and it takes all day to do those activities, and you barely have time to eat in between the... I'm just bad at bringing that stuff with me. You know, I need
know
to be
what you
better
mean.
at carrying my own, whether it's bars or fucking kimchi or whatever, to bring it with me so that I don't get to that, oh my God, I'm starving, and then murder food.
When you leave, get me your address and I'll have some On It stuff sent to you.
Oh, cool.
Because we have some new On It protein bites.
Oh.
These they're coconut and cashews, no guilt.
I like coconut
7
and
grams
cashews.
of protein for each one of these little squares, and they're fucking
Hell yeah.
crack.
That'll
They're
just get you to
heroin.
the next thing.
Yeah, they're heroin.
I like that.
Yeah, I'll have some sent to you.
Sent that in like 300 or 400 pounds of elk.
I
wanted
I've
to
got
tell you,
some.
I killed something.
What-
I went
Jesus.
hunting.
that guy?
I went bird hunting.
Oh, what'd you shoot?
I shot a quail.
Oh, they're
I used
delicious.
a gun. I didn't, I can't shoot a quail with a bow.
It's hard.
But they were delicious, and
Delicious food.
it was really the dogs. The dogs were so impressive. The dogs were amazing.
Well trained.
So super well trained. Went to this place in South Georgia, and they had the most brilliantly trained dogs like I've ever
Wow.
seen. That just found everything. I think I got like 90 birds in a weekend. It was
Really?
a lot. I got
my
a lot
God.
of birds.
So you went on a full Dick Cheney.
Full, without the humans. I didn't shoot any humans. It was fun
So
though. I really
cooked for
enjoyed
you?
it.
Did you cook the quail?
No, they sent me some, which I
Mm-hmm.
could cook at home. But they were doing them there. They were turning the quail breasts into like nuggets, like a McNugget, but a quail breast, and then like the drumsticks, banging, absolutely
Yeah.
delicious.
And what did they cook the when you say like a McNugget? So they breaded it.
Yeah, they breaded it and fried it, and it was like a
wow.
whole quail breast was like a pop it in your mouth nugget. It was really good.
It's a delicious meat.
yeah.
Yeah, they're crazy tasty birds.
Yeah, but I was like super conflicted about the hunting portion of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It felt my dad was like, it's like fishing. I was like,
Definitely not.
It's not like fishing, but I didn't feel as guilty as I thought I would.
You know what, man? It's like, and this is a crazy thing to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's like an old relationship. Like you're like, oh, like you run into an old girlfriend on the street and you haven't seen her since 1989 or something.
Can't wait to
when
see
you're
where this
10
is
years
going.
old,
Okay.
whatever the fuck it is. A long time ago, and you run into each other and you start talking to each other like, oh, I remember you.
I
That's what it's
remember
like
why I
when
broke
you
up
kill
with you.
something. No,
Yeah.
not even that. Just you. It's a relationship with hunting an animal. Like people feel it very quickly with fishing because fishing carries very little guilt. Some people are like, oh, is it hurt? Is it gonna get hurt? Some people get like that with fish. Most people don't give a fuck about fish.
Yeah.
Little kids, they laugh. My kids laugh.
And it's like flopping and dying.
Fish has a fucking hook through its head, and my 7-year-old thinks it's awesome. Oh my God, it's so big! Yay! She's so happy that this thing is dying.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. But if that was a rabbit, she would
Yeah.
never have that reaction.
Right.
There's a natural thing that we have with we have a hierarchy of life.
Yeah.
And things that are closest to us, we feel more connected to. We don't feel connected at all to bugs. Nobody gives a
Right.
fuck about bugs.
Right.
Vegans slap mosquitoes all day long. Nobody gives a shit about that life.
Yeah.
But there is a life that you care about when things get warm and
Yeah,
brown
cute-
and
cute
fuzzy.
things, yeah.
They get like too close to us.
Yeah.
Right? When they get too close to mammal-like, people freak out.
Yeah, I went on a South African safari last year, and it was like I couldn't fathom someone going and hunting a leopard or something like that.
That's a weird thing. That's
The
a
big
very,
game shit?
That's a very weird thing. It's a very different thing. It's almost like what that is, and I'm not saying
Is
it
it like a
shouldn't be legal.
sadism?
Maybe a little, but what that is like it's an aberration off the original idea. And this is the only way to look at it. And people will get mad at me that are hunters because I'm a hunter. And like, what are you saying? Look, it's not the thing to do unless you're doing it on just to control population. There's no reason to do it. But what happened was, in the past, the only reason people hunted was for meat.
Right.
You barely could stay alive anyway. And when you went on a hunting party, you didn't go for sport. You went to go to kill things. When you have so much food that you don't need to worry about food, and you've already been shooting all these animals, then they start doing these things called slams. They call it doing super slams or the grand slam. There's a doll sheep slam. There's a sheep slam, like a bighorn sheep slam. There's a white
Is this like a jamboree?
No. you try to kill one representative of each of the subspecies.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. It's a big thing. It's a big thing with these guys.
Like a poker run?
They call them like the big six or the big eight in Africa.
In Africa, it's a big five.
Is that what it is?
It's the big five. Yeah, the
Thank
five
you.
most dangerous animals to hunt on foot. It's like cheetah, lion, hippo, rhino, and whatever the fuck. Leopard.
Yeah. There's a bunch of these kind of slams. They have them for turkeys. They have a wild turkey slam. You get the Gould's turkey, you get the Osceola turkey. There's a bunch of different turkeys all over the country. One in Florida. There's one in Mexico. It's a different turkey. Point being, people start collecting animals.
Yeah.
It gets weird.
Well, that's the trophy, right?
Yeah, it gets weird. It's like it gets to this weird place. Like you don't think they shouldn't do it. Like, okay, are you eating the turkey? You are. Okay, that's cool. Are you eating the deer? Yep. Okay, well then I have no quarrel. But when you start going like leopard, lion.
Oh, I said cheetah. It was elephant was the other one. Yeah,
man. I mean, the only reason why you shoot an elephant is if the elephant's going on a rampage through a village and killing people, and you want to protect people's lives. And I'm on team people. Other than that, why the fuck else would you shoot an elephant?
I have no idea.
Like
I saw an elephant, the biggest elephant I've ever seen, as far away from me as you were sitting right now.
Oh my God!
And I almost had a heart attack.
In real life?
Yeah, in Africa on the safari. It was fucking scary.
See, but I think those things are amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing. But like you just know, because what you're doing, the reason I was so close is because we were watching them push trees down with their trunks, like 4 or 5 inch trees, just thunk, thunk.
Oh my God.
Thunk, thunk, like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like you'd crash a car if you hit one of those. It would crash the car. And like they're just thunk, 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 and they're right next to you. And if they go thunk on your Jeep, that's the end of that.
You know what's complicated? Someone was trying to explain this to me, and I should really be honest about this. A guy was trying to explain to me that when we think of Africa, we think of a country. It's not a country. It's a continent, and it's a way bigger continent than North America. We've seen pictures of United States stuck in the middle of Africa. Africa's fucking huge. And he's like, unfortunately, there's places in Africa where they have overpopulations of elephants, and they encroach on human civilization, and they do have to hire hunters to come in and do it and kill them. Well, they don't hire them. The hunters pay. And the money goes straight to the village. The meat goes to the village, and people get very excited about people hunting these elephants.
Yeah.
And when I hear that
probably
shit,
seems
I'm
like a
so
sort of
conflicted.
short-term solution to the village, right? The village doesn't give a shit about the elephants. They want to eat, probably, right? Do they care their conservationists?
The elephants eat their crops.
Oh.
Becomes a big issue.
Yeah.
And they eat the fuck out of their crops.
Yeah.
You know, like good luck
They
putting
only
up a fence to keep a goddamn elephant out. You have no chance. So when someone was explaining this to me, I remember, you know, we were saying this. I was like, why the fuck would you ever want to kill an elephant? We know there's not that many of them. And he's like, yeah, this is why it's complicated. There's not that many of them in some places. It's like in L.A., there's no grizzly bears, right?
Yeah.
But if you go to Montana, the people that live in Montana are going,
Get
hey,
these grizzly bears
when are you
out
going to
of
start
here?"
hunting these fucking things? They just declared them open for in Wyoming. They think they just started a hunting season, and it's very controversial. And they
Are they endangered or anything?
No, not anymore at all. No, they have a lot of them. And the people that live up there, especially people that have been mauled or know people that have been mauled, they're like, hey, fucking enough. Enough. I get it. They made a great comeback.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're in Chicago, there's 0 bears.
Yeah.
It's like, so and this is a tiny place in comparison to Africa. So when I was saying that, like, I thought that elephants were endangered, he's like, yes and no.
Yeah.
They're endangered in some areas. And
good point.
the fucked up point, and the most dark point about all of it is that trophy hunting is the only thing that keeps those animals healthy. This is what's fucked up. I was talking to my friend Cam Haynes about this weekend. And this is when I say trophy hunting, I'm even talking about normal hunting for meat, like impalas or, you know, elands.
Yeah.
These big game animals that people hunt for because they're delicious. Even them. In Zimbabwe, there's a lot of areas in Zimbabwe that are not high fence. They're just open, enormous areas. All of the money that would come from people hunting there would sustain these local areas, sustain these lodges, so it would make it viable to keep these animals alive and stop poachers. A big thing
because it
was,
funds the anti-poaching, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
the only thing that funds the anti-poaching. So here's what happened. The Cecil the lion shit went down. Nobody wanted to go to Africa anymore to go hunting, and all of these businesses are going under. So there's nothing stopping the poachers. So the poachers move in and kill everything. Kill everything.
How about that? That's gone the other way.
This is how many elephants were killed last year by people. Something like 400, or Google this, legally killed elephants. The number of illegally killed elephants, 30,000.
Come on.
30,000. Most of them are killed illegally. Most of them are poached. They have this one elephant, you know that last elephant that was dying? The male, or excuse me, rhino that was dying?
White rhino or black rhino? Which rhino was it?
A black rhino, I think. They had that poor bastard with armed guards around it 24/7.
Yeah.
Because they were worried someone's going to kill it and shoot it and chop the fucking horn off.
Yeah.
Like, the poaching is way scarier than the hunting. And the only thing that protects the animals from poaching is hunting. It sounds so counterintuitive
weird,
and so but you have to look at it honestly.
Yeah, they said something similar to us in South Africa about that. That they need the funds because the anti-poachers, you know, they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
And then here's the other problem. When you say poachers, these poachers, you know what you're really saying? Poor people. That's what you're really saying. They're poor, desperate people. They don't know what the fuck to do. And if they can chop off a rhino's horn and make some money, they're going to do it. If they can shoot that animal that's not theirs and use it for meat, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They're starving to death.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no options. There's people in parts of Africa that are living in grass huts. My buddy Justin Wren, he goes and makes wells for these people in the Congo. And the stories he tells you would just make your eyes tear up. These are the human beings. And they're living like this 24 hours a day for their entire life. And this is the norm. So we're talking about poachers. We're talking about people that are fucking desperate, man.
Yeah.
You can call them poachers. You could dehumanize them with that term, but they're just poor people. And the only way...
Are none of them the movie stereotype poachers? There's got to be a couple of them.
But most of them aren't. Now here's what's even crazier. Most of the anti-poaching agents used to be poachers. Because there's nothing else for them to do.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
And now they're poachers again.
But they're hunting people.
But they got out of this position. They can't be anti-poachers
Oh,
anymore.
because they can't
there's
fund
no
them.
money anymore.
So now they just
now
went
they
back.
become poachers again.
Oh, perfect.
This happens to a lot of them.
This has gone well.
So when Cam Haynes was explaining this to me, and when he's explaining it to me, I'm like, well, of course. So they don't even know how many animals are left in these areas where people have abandoned them.
That's crazy.
These ranches that were once thriving ways. See, the thing is, most of these animals, a good percentage of them, were on the verge of extinction just 30 years ago because people were just overhunting them and poaching them and doing whatever they wanted to them. Then they started putting value on them. People would go over there to hunt them. So people would keep them in these huge areas, and that populations boomed.
Yeah.
Because they were taking care of them because they were a resource. And this is conflicting to people.
It's wild.
It's very wild.
I just went to the Galapagos on a vacation, which is interesting. Have you been? It seems like your kind of spot.
I want to go.
Can't kill anything. It's like Hawaii if there were never people.
Wow.
So it's a completely empty Hawaii.
How big is it?
About the same size as Hawaii.
The Big Island or like
No, it's
Oahu?
a chain of islands. There's probably like 13 or 15 islands.
Whoa.
Yeah. None as big as the Big Island, but most like Maui, Oahu.
And there's no
size.
buildings on them?
There are 2 or 3 like towns with like 25,000 people, and the rest of it is nothing. National Park, 97%.
Wow.
But they talk about the giant tortoises.
Yeah.
You know, and there were like potentially 500,000 of them on the islands, and it went down to like 1. Like they found like the last one. And they tried to breed it. There's like 3 varieties of tortoises, and one of them got down to 1, and they tried to save it, and they couldn't save it, and now it's like, you know, embalmed and fucking taxidermied on the Galapagos Islands. But you know, these giant tortoises that lived at 200, but all the passing ships would just like grab a few of them and they'd eat them on the ships, and they completely decimated the entire population. They're all gone, and they're trying to bring them back. I don't even know why we started here, but
well, they take forever to grow, right?
Yeah,
and they live forever.
Yeah,
they live
have
like 1,000 years. Don't
they live like 200 years. Yeah, and then the whole rest of the islands. What's crazy about them is nothing's been hunted there in forever. So the wild animals have no problem with people. No problem. Like you're face to face with sea lions and stuff. I could be to like birds, like what kind of wild bird would let you get within like a foot of it? But there's these giant blue-footed boobies that have no problem with you just being right here, watching them. Like they could have a baby right there, and they won't even fuck with you.
Wow.
And like huge lizards, but underwater, the density of the underwater sea life was insane. Hammerhead sharks. Wow. I think a baby hammerhead shark is the cutest animal I've ever seen.
A baby hammerhead.
Like this.
Why
18-inch
do
baby
you know
hammerhead
why
shark.
they developed their eyes out there on the ends like that?
Presumably it's like an echolocation or radar sonar type of thing. It gives you better range, I think, because they are in darker waters, if I had to guess. They're really, really cool to see in person, though. There's nothing like a hammerhead shark.
Isn't the Galapagos where they had that thing that they were doing with Judas goats? Do you know that?
Yes.
That is it, right?
The goats,
Captain Cook dropped off a bunch of goats on those islands.
Yes.
And they did it so that when they came back, they'd have something to hunt.
and the goats overran the island.
Yeah, and they overate.
Badly. Yeah.
That was a big problem. They're eating everything.
And
they
then,
eat everything in sight.
And then what did they do with the Judas? The Judas goat had like a disease or something?
No.
What did it do?
No, they took one of them and they neutered him, and then they sent him out with a radio collar on. So he would find out where all the other goats are. They would gun them down
From helicopters.
and they would keep him alive. They would go, "That's the Judas goat. We keep him alive." So they'd gun all these goats down. He would go, "Man, they killed all my friends.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make some new friends." And he would go and make some new friends, and then they would locate that new pack.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's very difficult to locate packs of goats. If you're really going to put a dent in the population, they wanted to wipe them all out.
They killed like 75,000 goats. It was a crazy number of goats.
Dude,
but they were completely overrunning the whole thing.
Well, and they're trained sharpshooters were sent in helicopters to scour the island for goats. Once found, the goats would be shot from the air, either in the head or the heart, to ensure a quick death. Whatever. Using stop lying. They shot those.
No
things
one
in
ever
the
caught
dick.
him in the arm.
They
Yeah.
shot him in the face. They shot him everywhere they could. They're in a helicopter. You're not even in a steady. Go back to that, please, so I can keep reading. They're not even in a steady place where they can steadily shoot. You don't have a good rest from fucking helicopter.
They're had mini guns.
They're just gunning those fuckers down. Why lie like that? In the heart or in the head to ensure a quick death? Okay, Mom. Using high-powered weaponry and military precision. Stop with your military precision. Who wrote this? Many people, including the plan's orchestrators, had misgivings about such a large-scale slaughter of goats. However, the decision was made that the Galapagos ecosystem, under threat found nowhere else on Earth, was valuable enough to justify their actions. Yeah, they're an invasive species.
History was written by the winners.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that they're essentially preparing for people who are animal rights activists reading this. That's why they're writing, they're shooting them with such precision.
It's actually very funny because, the Galapagos is ridiculously restrictive. You cannot set foot on a beach there without a naturalist with you the whole time. And you can't be more than 50 feet from the naturalist ever.
How'd you guys do it? Did you hire someone to
You go on,
take you on a
it's like
tour?
an organized thing. It was a smallish yacht with 30 people on it.
I heard they check your shoes to
They
make sure you
do.
don't seeds in the soles
Yeah, they
of your
rinse
feet.
off the bottom of your shoes and then they hand sanitize you when you get back on the boats.
They said they've had real issues with people that have tramped on plants and then come to the Galapagos. Now those plants grow there.
Yeah, well, there's one island that I was expecting tropical, right? Because Hawaii is kind of tropical. None of them plants are fucking native. None
of them?
None of them. All the jungle plants were brought there. The Galapagos has one island that has jungle on it, and all of the rest of them are volcanic rock and cactuses and shrubs.
Whoa.
Yeah, not what I expected. And I was like, how come this island has a jungle on it and the rest of them? They said, all these plants are not native. They were all brought here in the 1700s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the plants that were brought there, those plants, whoa, look at that shit.
I'm not sure what that is. I never saw that, but it's awesome.
That looks like an artist rendering to me. We're looking at this crazy tree that looks like it's right out of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Dragon blood tree is what it's called.
That's an awesome name for that tree.
I want that shit in my yard.
You got a big building here. Can we get one of those?
Dude, I need a dragon blood tree in my life. Look at that thing. That
Wow.
looks like Avatar Island. That island that floats. Remember that one that floated?
But
That is the greatest looking tree I've ever seen.
It's a very cool tree. It's a weird economy, but the same naturalists that were
What?
preserve everything are giddy when they talk about shooting goats from a helicopter.
Yeah, well, they look at the goats as what they really are.
Yeah.
They're an invasive species. I mean, they're life forms, and it's not their fault that they're there. But like I was trying to explain to my friend, I have a buddy of mine who's thinking about hunting. He eats meat, and he's like, if I'm not going to kill my own meat, like why should I have the right to eat meat? He's in this weird moral thing, and he's like, I'm thinking about being vegan, but I know it's not the right move for my health. I'm like, well, you should try it, see if it's the right move for your health. It might work good for your body, but if you want to shoot something, the thing to shoot would be wild pigs, because they have 3-4 litters a year. Each one of them, they could have 4, 5, even 6 babies, and they fuck like crazy, and they eat everything, and they might be 400 or 500 pounds. I mean, they can get big.
You kill one of those a year, you're golden.
I mean, but they get fucking. The point is, they get destructive, and there's nothing that kills them.
Where do you find these wild pigs?
Everywhere. They're all over the country now.
Where's I don't hunt, Joe. Where's everywhere?
It's not even a hunting issue. It's people who live in San Jose are having a problem with wild pigs going through their backyard and fucking them up. Yeah, it's a real issue because no one's paid attention to them. People are getting in their highway, going to school, stopping at Starbucks, doing the normal shit. While this is happening, they're out there in the bush earning it. They're fucking and they're making babies, and there's a shit ton of them. And they're all over the place, man. All over from Bakersfield on up, Northern California, filled with wild pigs.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Are they tasty?
Look at that.
Do they taste like domestic pigs?
Currently exist in 56 of the state's 58 counties.
Wow.
Yeah. Where's that? What state is that?
California? Shit.
California.
They're everywhere.
56 of the state's 58 counties have wild pigs.
Okay, so when you say everywhere, you're not fucking around.
No, they are a biological plague. They're a completely invasive species, and they're designed to live in places with wolves and lions, and I mean that's what their origins are.
But
right?
do they taste good?
Phenomenal.
Really?
Better than domestic pork.
Great.
Yeah, especially when you cook them right. Like you take a ham and you like slow it on a smoker. Yeah, brine it maybe for a few days first. Dude, I'm telling you, goddamn delicious.
Not surprising.
They're a delicious plague. But they're everywhere, and they eat everything. Ground nesting birds, like fucking anything on the ground. They're just all the time fucking up people's lawns, digging in people. Anybody.
So you just want to be ready.
You just they have to do things.
Just be locked and loaded in your yard, and
well, in Texas they just shoot them. I mean, they get in helicopters. They have this
the helicopters.
Yeah.
I was at a thing, and a guy was telling me about shooting pigs from a helicopter. There you go.
Apocalypse Now is what you want to look up. It's a guy named...
That's not a porno?
No. It should be. Probably is too. But it's a guy named Pigman who... I'm buddies with this guy. I text him. We text each other. I know him.
You and Pigman.
He texts me, and I text him back. It's like, okay. It's crazy. He's a good dude. But anyway, he's... His whole thing is eradicating these wild pigs. And they did them with Ted Nugent, where they're shooting machine guns out of a fucking helicopter, and they killed 200 and something of them in one day. Feral hogs are now in 37 states. Look at this.
Wow,
this is 1.5 billion in crop damage yearly.
I mean, I like the anti-pig propaganda film. This is good.
2.6 million hogs in Texas alone. Do you know how crazy that is? And again, delicious. They've got a bunch of brucellosis and a bunch of different terrible diseases. So,
fuck Ted Nugent. But
well, how dare you?
Fuck Ted Nugent.
How dare you?
He sucks.
Well, he's definitely got issues.
Yes.
So they're up there with machine guns gunning down these wild pigs out of helicopters. And party is like, they shouldn't be able to do this. But party is like, they have to do this, because if they don't do this, then these things keep breeding and there's more of them. If they don't eradicate the numbers, what's to stop these things from just spreading across the entire country and becoming a real problem? Well, they're already a real problem. So what do you do?
Which part of you goes, that looks kind of fun?
It looks very fun. It does. If it wasn't a life form, it looks very fun.
I would want to do that with like targets. Like, can they do that and put like targets out there?
It wouldn't be as fun. You'd want to do it with. But the thing is, like, you see a mama and her babies, and I mean, the whole thing is, it's kind of fucked up because there's not a whole lot of other ways to do this. Here's the thing. It's like you got to locate them on these enormous ranches. So what are you going to do? You're going to have people go out there with hunting camps and slowly make their way through the bushes, or and that they might kill 250 of them in a month.
Yeah.
Or these guys get 250
I'm
of them
not
in a
arguing
day.
with the efficiency of this process. This is extremely efficient.
Yeah. It is an epidemic, though. I mean, what they're saying
God.
is accurate. You seeing all these pigs? I mean, look at the populations that these guys are gunning down. And this is just a fraction of what exists
There's
out
the
there.
shot right there. That was like right out of The Godfather.
Yeah, the pig hanging from a helicopter.
Hanging from the helicopter. Look
So,
at that. Oh, that
it's not-
Jamie, that freeze frame on Ted Nugent's face was extra
He looked like
creepy.
it was coming.
Wait,
On the
this is
Sportsman Channel.
this is a
Yes.
real show?
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was a goof. That's
no,
a real
no,
show.
No. That's real.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Apocalypse now.
Apocalypse is episodes on Pigman's show.
Oh my
So,
God.
but you see, as a person who loves animals and also eats meat, I understand conflict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love animals. I love wild animals. I love pets. I love them, but I also eat meat, and
Yeah.
they do too. There's a weird relationship going on with people and animals, but that, to me, in modern world, is one of the weirder aspects. Flying around a helicopter, gunning down feral pigs that destroy crops, cause billions of dollars in damage, and are spreading across the entire country. What else do you do?
No, it just seems so unfair.
Oh, it's 100% unfair.
Seems so
It's
unfair.
100% unfair. But the question is it unfair if you're jogging through the woods and a bear eats you? Is that unfair? That seems unfair too.
Probably also unfair.
Yeah, I mean, you're barely
Levels of unfair.
able to just sustain a nice pace and go jogging. If you got to run from a bear,
Just trying to drop a few LBs.
that's it, man. I didn't want to get eaten.
This grizzly. Came
Yeah.
out of fucking nowhere.
I don't know, man. We have weird relationships with animals. You know, I know you eat meat,
I do. Yeah.
obviously.
No, I don't feel too guilty about it
whale.
either. I eat meat from the grocery store and I don't feel too guilty about it. I'm sorry to say.
Well, yeah.
That's fucking life. You know.
Do you feel bad about factory farming?
I try to buy good quality meat from good quality places, but that's about. I don't.
Right.
I
You
don't
hope
buy
that
like
their
farm
ethics-
raised fish, and
Right.
you know, I don't know. I
Yeah.
try and buy good shit if I can. I prefer to eat high quality things,
Yeah. I hear you.
but I don't know. Should we talk about cars more?
Yep.
Do we want to? Do you want to?
Can. Yeah.
What else are you seeing in the world of cars?
We stumbled into an area of dead animals and pigs.
Well, this is your
I don't know how
show,
it
so
went
that's what's going to happen.
I didn't mean to bring it there.
But this is when I get to
to
talk to you. So what are you going to do?
Oh.
That's what happens.
I'll tell you what I'm interested in, man. I'm
Sure.
interested in that new Corvette ZR1.
Going to drive it next week. On Monday and Tuesday at Road Atlanta.
That thing looks ridiculous.
750 horsepower.
See, that's what I'm talking about. When are they going to stop? Are they
I
going to
don't
hit
know.
1,000 horsepower on a regular car that people can buy in our lifetime?
Yes. Yeah, you know who will probably do it first, actually, in terms of like a, quote, regular car with 1,000 horsepower would probably be electric, like an electric car, because it's so easy to make that power.
Look at that thing.
It's aggressive.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
aggressive. And
That
you see
thing
they had to put this
looks awesome.
monster power bulge in the hood there in
yeah.
the center. So, you know, this Corvette Z06 was out before, and it was very fast, 650 horsepower, but it had this issue where it was heat soaking. Wherein, like, you'd lose power because the supercharger would develop so much heat. And it was a small supercharger to fit under the low hood, because the low hood is sort of a thing for Corvette.
Right.
And the way to make more power while also creating less heat is to use a bigger supercharger and spin it slower, as opposed to a smaller one that spun faster. So they had to put a bigger one, which raises the hood. So
Does it fuck with you? Don't know yet. You haven't driven it. I was gonna say your vantage point, your viewpoint.
I don't know. I'll report back.
Can you pull that
A couple of weeks.
pull a picture up
but
of that thing?
it's definitely a big old cowl hood. I have driven. There's a company called Callaway. You've heard of them?
Yes.
They
God,
modify
that's
the
a
wing.
beautiful car, man.
Yeah.
Go back to that image that you just had.
The aero package is certainly aggressive.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
That looks so good.
So I have driven a Corvette of this generation that has an engine like this, and I drove something called the Callaway Aero Wagon. They actually turned a Corvette into like a shooting brake, like a wagon.
Oh God.
It's not that bad. It's pretty
Stop.
cool. But it had 775 horsepower, and it was one of the scariest cars I've ever
Look
driven.
at that side profile.
Look, you can get it as a convertible.
Wow, that's amazing. A ZR1 as a convertible?
Yeah.
Did they do anything to extra stiffen it up?
The reason they do this is they say that the roof itself is not a contributor towards the chassis rigidity, so they can sell the car as a coupe or a convertible without any loss of rigidity. That's what they say.
That thing drives like.
Honestly, I think
like
you're
a
a
coupe?
douche if you buy a ZR1 convertible.
Whoa, how dare you?
Because you can
thinking about
you
buying
can buy
one.
the coupe and
Now I
take the
feel
roof
threatened.
off. You can buy the coupe and take the hard roof
Right,
off.
but that's
still.
not the same. It's not the same.
It is because you don't look like a douche.
Convertibles are for douchebags?
The top performing Corvette engine track package with an aero kit in a convertible.
Go back to that picture of the red convertible again, Jamie, right
It's
under
for
that.
people who suck.
How dare you?
Eh?
Who, you son of a bitch.
Dude, what are you doing with the top down and that
Looking
wing?
amazing.
And the wing.
Looking like a player.
Jamie, can you break the
out
tie
there
on this?
balling,
What's your verdict? Convertible or
playing
no
some
convertible?
Tiesto music and letting people know.
Who are you driving with? Who's with you?
You.
No, just by yourself?
Just you and me.
By yourself,
yeah,
it's
if
not.
us two, then no convertible. If you're a girl, convertible.
Oh, okay. For us
It
two,
takes
no
someone-
convertible?
yeah.
Yeah, we look desperate.
Yeah.
Out there by ourselves.
Two guys in a convertible. Is a
Two
little
guys
weird.
in a convertible is weird. That's a good point. A guy and a girl, that's a very good point by
Two guys
Jamie.
in a convertible is still
Fucking
weird.
weird.
It's still weird for
It's
you
weird.
in 2018.
Any well, not if they're gay. But any convertible, two guys in any convertible is weird. It's
Yeah.
like, what are you losers doing? It's-
Real men don't put the top
no,
down.
but by yourself, yes.
You know
Like,
what- you
I'm
know
by
how you can
myself,
tell
I'm
someone-
free, I'm just driving around.
You know, you can tell someone's a real bad driver. It's a really surefire way to tell someone's a terrible driver. If
What?
they've got a convertible and it's like and they put the windows down, but the front windows go down and the little back windows stay up, like a 3 Series BMW, where they don't notice those little rear windows are just still up by
Yeah,
themselves.
that
That's how
is
you can tell
gross.
someone's a bad driver, never checks their blind spots.
Well, even when you drive in a convertible with the windows up, like, stop.
Four's even worse. Two guys in the back, too.
Oh,
All the
Oh,
boys.
4 up?
That's bad.
Yeah. In Venice, I see that. I see
Dorks.
all the convertible Mustangs loaded up.
When I see that, I always look at those 4 guys. I'm like, one of those guys is dead weight. Guarantee you. One of those guys is a pain in the ass.
3 of them hate the other.
Yeah, one of those
hate the
guys always short on how much he puts in for the tab.
It's funny.
One of those guys.
And you never pay for weed ever. Dewey.
When I'm doing better, I'll pay, man. Fuck you. That looks so good, though. Pull that picture up again.
They've
Come on.
they've
That's a
really
good-looking
shredded the
goddamn
hell out of
car.
it, haven't they?
That looks amazing.
Yeah.
Red with black. That ZR1 convertible. That
And-
looks fucking amazing.
Dude, and it's apparently faster around Virginia International Raceway than the Ford GT, which we
Whoa.
just looked at. And the Ford GT is like a race car. This thing has like a big trunk and, you know,
Yeah.
it's a for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty normal car.
That's awesome. I like it.
It's not, there's not a lot of sacrifice going on with driving one of those. You know, you get in it, you drive it, and it's got a big trunk and it's reasonably comfortable and easy to live with.
But it's interesting that this is like this game of like, okay, let's look at watches. There's no real improvement in performance, right? I mean, they're beautiful, but I mean, the performance difference between now and 10 years ago is not clear.
Yeah, and a mechanical watch.
Right. Just-
No, I mean it's
just a watch.
There's artistry and
Right.
there's technological complication. I mean, there's complication for the sake of complication. So
Right.
they'll have watches like, to use a car example, imagine a car. Okay, and from the outside, it looks roughly like a normal car, right? Four wheels and a driver's seat, right? It has one engine, and it has 4 transmissions coming off of that engine, all of which come back together to make it the car one-wheel drive. Right? Imagine that applied to a watch. So it'll be like one main movement that goes out into 4 gear trains and then comes back into just an hour and a minute hand. Well, why would you sync up 4 gear trains when you could do the same thing with one?
Right.
And it's like, well, because we can.
Right.
It would be like building a car with 2 engines. Like, that's not smart, but you do it. Just be like, I built a fucking car with 2 engines.
Unless you're talking about like the NSX engine where you have the front engines
Yeah.
for the electric. And the back
Exactly,
engine.
exactly.
But I think what I'm getting at is that with computers and with cars, those are the one thing that you expect an improvement every year.
Yeah.
Just that nobody's going to accept the old way. Like
No.
you can't just build unless you're a singer and you're making something custom.
Well, the Singer is what that example is
reaction.
what the mechanical watch kind of industry is. You know, they position it as a luxury item from a time gone by,
Right.
sort of thing. You know, whereas actually, if you want to talk about innovation, this right here is a Grand Seiko, which has a movement called a spring drive movement in it, and it is one of the most advanced and unique mechanical movements available in a watch today.
So this is a Seiko.
It's a Grand Seiko,
What's
which
the
is
difference?
So the difference is, it's like think about a
Lexus?
Think about a Lexus. A Seiko is a Lexus, not a Toyota.
Right.
This is a Lexus LFA.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a Grand Seiko is built in a different factory from the regular Seikos. It's built by hand, completely by hand, all hand finished, hand polished. It's built of exotic materials. It has a cool movement.
Dude, you should sell watches.
I have a watch podcast. It's called Watch and Listen. It's on YouTube.
Wow,
But you
it's
see,
beautiful.
yeah, I mean, and I have what is called the display back on this, so you can see the movement in the back and how high the level of finish is. And you've got sapphire and titanium, and so the spring drive movement is, without getting crazy nerdy about it, is actually a true innovation in mechanical watchmaking. So run the chronograph. It's on the front, the top button. No, here. Watch the sweep of the chronograph hand, the big second hand. You get a perfectly smooth sweep, the smoothest possible sweep that there could be.
It is smooth.
It is. It is.
It is smooth. How much is a watch like this worth?
Around 10.
1,000.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
God.
But it's
See this watch, $300.
well, it's a
Casio
G-Shock?
G-Shock.
No, G-Shocks are the shit, dude.
$300.
G-Shocks are awesome. As far as
Got
like
a light on it. Does that have a light?
No, but it
I don't
has
think
it,
so.
but it's polished so that it can see it
Mine
in the
tells
dark.
you the date, motherfucker. Look.
Dude, G-Shocks are dope. A G-Shock is a watch guy's tool watch. Like
okay.
highly functional, durable. A G-Shock is a total watch guy's watch. You can get G-Shocks that are like $5,000, you know.
What?
Yeah. They have, dude, Jamie, look up a $5,000 G-Shock watch.
Oh, that's that right there.
yeah.
Hold that up.
That's John
Jonathan
Ward's.
own design.
That's cool.
It's
How
amazing.
cool is
I
that?
think it's based on the Duesberg.
Yeah, Duesenberg gauge cluster. And the watch
Duesenberg.
is called the Doozy, and it's got a complication on it called a jump hour complication. So it's basically just a black face, almost looks like a bathroom scale, and it's got two windows, hours on top, minutes on the bottom, and the minutes sweep by slowly, whereas the hours do not sweep by slowly. At 59 and 59 seconds, the hours click over right fast. So it's a jump hour as opposed to a slow-moving hour.
Now, he designed the look, or did he design the internals?
He designed the look, the face, the complications, and he worked with a Swiss watchmaker to design an actual unique movement to use for this watch. He designed the case, and
That's crazy.
it is awesome. And that watch is $12,000, and he's
believe
making
it.
50 of them.
I believe it.
Yeah. He tried to use the face in that Vanta Black shit.
What is that?
Vanta Black is the blackest black that has ever existed.
Oh, I saw they painted a building with that
It looks
shit.
like a negative space, dude. Get a picture of Vanta Black. It doesn't look real, and it's the most black that's something painted in Vanta Black.
Whoa.
It's so black that it absorbs all light, and you can't even
Wait a
see
minute.
anything.
Can you paint a car in that?
You could, except environmentally, it's not a good thing.
Hey, fuck the penguins. Or whoever's gonna die.
Apparently,
I want
to
a
me,
nice black G-Wagon. You fucks.
bro, I need my G-Wagon Vanta
Listen,
Black, bro.
Vanta Black is
So
the way to go.
this
See
watch here
Vanta Black.
has Vanta Black in it.
Of course it does.
And you'll see it's $95,000, and the Vanta Black is just the black background.
When you said $95,000, my balls hurt. It made my balls go like this. They went,
Bro, they got watches that are $1 million.
what?
There's $1 million. You can buy $1 million watches right now.
$300. G-Shock. Look at
Dude,
that.
there's a watch called a Jacob Astronomia that is like wearing like a sapphire fishbowl on your fucking hand. I swear it's the craziest shit you've ever seen. It's so ridiculous. It's like Liberace, the oil
Oh
chic.
my
Look at that.
God, that is insane.
Yeah, and Jamie, top right picture there, See, this has a gold case. That's a sapphire case. The whole thing is sapphire.
What if you bump into something and it shatters on your hand? That's so stupid. You're wearing a glass watch.
It's not glass. It's sapphire.
You Cinderella motherfucker.
Dude, the whole case is milled from a block of sapphire.
The whole case can go fuck itself. Seriously.
It's $1 million?
You deserve that thing to break. That's crazy looking.
It's hilarious, right?
That's $1 million watch.
Yeah.
Earth is that.
Yeah,
What
that's
kind
the
of-
Earth. The planets are spinning around.
They spin around.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you
now
can
I
find a
love it.
video of it
Look at the
moving, it's
stars.
nuts.
Look at the stars.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got like a roll. If you drove your Rolls Royce,
It would
with your
match.
$1 million watch, you'd be like, what?
You could coordinate this guy with your starfield ceiling.
Dude, that is a small Earth. That's crazy. And it literally has the continents in silver.
Yeah.
And then some blue star thing. What is the water made out of, you think?
It's got to be like, I have
Opals or
no
some
idea,
shit.
anodized something. But then there's the diamond sun on the other side.
Oh my God! There's a ball, a diamond ball that spins around.
Some of them have different stuff on them too.
You know
That's
how
just one.
baller you have to be sporting $1 million watch.
Yeah, that one's got
Let me check the
that
time.
one's got a central star.
Let me check the time on my $1 million motherfucking watch.
It's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's some rich people doing some really, really weird rich people things right now.
That seems preposterous. That thing with all the diamonds on the
Baguette
bottom.
diamonds.
Yeah, that's like some steampunk, futuristic.
But like
ridiculousness.
it's weird. It's even more so than cars. It's like, because a car, it's like, okay, you got $1,000 car, $10,000 car, $100,000 car, but like, yeah,
at that.
when you zoom in really close.
That's a computer version because that's not real.
Oh, it's CGI, but that is pretty
Oh
much
my
what you
God.
get.
Why
See the
is that-
astrological signs there?
Oh my God! What is that? The red made out of? That's
Like amber or something? Oh, probably ruby.
The sun's a ruby.
It's probably
oh my
ruby.
God.
The sun's probably a yellow diamond.
Motherfucker, that is incredible.
Yeah.
See, I don't get it, but I get it. I mean, I
Well,
would
you
never
must
buy
be
it,
able
but
to
I get
appreciate
it.
that someone is making a machine that
yeah.
fits in a little fishbowl on your wrist.
Look at that.
Dragon.
And look, on top of the crazy artistry of this and the ridiculous price and the jewels and all that stuff, the mathematics of that machine work. That
Oh my
is
God.
that's not just like that for nothing. That does like moon phase,
Yeah.
astrological sign it is. There is an actual function,
Look at that one with the dragon.
the dragon in it.
You got to be fucking kidding me. That looks like something that come out of a little kid's gumball machine.
It's so crazy, right?
Go scroll up to that's amazing looking. Scroll up the other images though that they had those 3 watches together. Look
If
at that.
you ever-
look how good those things look. I mean, that is a crazy thing to have on your arm.
It's so crazy, right?
That's $1 million.
And if you see someone wearing one in person, it's big. It's like
yeah.
the size of that
Like having
Yeti lid.
a coffee mug on your hand.
It's so big.
It's so big.
There's
God,
really
they're
people
pretty.
they're actually. I mean, you'd be shocked at what people are doing with machinery and mechanical watchmaking.
I would be,
There's
man.
these. It's like the fight against friction is the whole thing, right? You've got this tiny little spring, and you need to get as much power out of it as possible. So they engineer these like micrograms of friction out of this stuff. So they that's the work. I
What
think.
the fuck
I
is
think that's
that?
an
That's some
work.
Star Trek
Yeah, and
shit. Whoa, that's pretty.
yeah, I think
What
that's
does the lid look when it's closed?
It looks like a Star Trek communicator.
Now, how much does something like that go for? Let me
It's probably
guess. Let me
50 or
guess.
60. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
I was going to guess. I was going to guess higher. I was going to guess 75.
I think you can get different versions of it that are. Don't hold me to the price. It's expensive, but
What do you think it cost, Jamie? Take a guess.
75.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. 75.
the
Let's find
top
out.
article should have it. The Hodinkee article usually has the price. If you scroll down to the bottom of that article, it should have it. That's it closed right there. So you can read the time when it's closed. So that
okay.
on that watch, it's 8:27.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what does it look like when it's closed?
That's it.
Go up.
That's closed right
Yeah,
there?
that's closed. Yeah, and then that's another version with
So
its
does it have different tops?
yeah, the clear top or the metallic one, and then there's a carbon back, and
That's a pretty watch.
yeah.
It's pretty looking.
If you scroll all the way down, it should say the price. No,
68.
68,000. There you go.
fucking expensive.
There's some wild stuff. There's a company called HYT that makes watches that have a liquid that moves around, and it tells you the time based on almost like a thermometer. The liquid goes up to this level.
Whoa.
There's a watch by a company called Devon, DEVON, that's a belt-driven watch where you have a series of conveyor belts on your wrist.
What?
Yeah, there's the HYT. So the green liquid goes around the dial.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a nuclear ooze that flows through the dial. Yeah.
Whoa. So
Yeah.
it changes depending upon the time?
Yeah. So that goo, it flows. Go back to the one with the green goo on the top left there. So it fills up around the dial,
So
and
is
then
that
it
what
resets.
a minute is? When it goes all the way around, is it a minute?
No, it's an hour, I believe.
Amazing.
It's awesome, right?
That's amazing. So you look down, and that's how you know where it is in the hour.
Yeah, and then it
minute-wise?
had a typical hour hand. Yeah,
that
and then
one.
this one it flows around the skull.
Dude.
You know,
How
actually,
much does something like that cost?
$100,000 or something.
Jesus.
Axl Rose is actually sponsored by them. Believe it or
course
not,
he is.
it works, right? It's on brand for him. I think this is
Yeah.
about $100,000.
So when you say sponsored, what do they do to get Axel to wear it on
He just
stage?
he
and
wears one. Yeah, I follow these dumb watch spotter Instagram accounts, and
They sell for upwards of 50,000. It says.
I think it's more than that.
Look at
but
that.
yeah, 50 to
David Cross
75.
brother.
Yeah, they're expensive, man.
It's David Cross selling watches. 285,000.
Woo!
The H3, particular ultralight high-end model. Which one's that one?
But there's there's some materials in this stuff. They use crazy forged carbon there. 95 grand used for a skull one. Yep.
Ooh, let me see that. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
black
real
like
crazy.
that?
I mean, you can get lost in this stuff. I mean, the machinery of it and the
What
materials.
color do you think the liquid is that goes around that fucker?
I don't know. They may have a different picture with a different liquid.
So that's how the minutes go.
Yeah. And then there was an hour.
That is so crazy. Press that.
Let's see
so
if
you can
there's
see
an
how this fucker
animation.
works.
Here's the liquid going. It's so cool.
That is fucking dope. I love the fact that people are so creative.
Yeah.
They can figure out how to do things like this on something like a watch.
See, look at the red goo going around the skull.
Ah,
Isn't that awesome?
oh my god. I'm in love with it.
It's so cool,
That's
right?
amazing. I'm in love with this.
And then look,
And then it goes
goes
backwards.
back, but it goes back quick. It goes back quick and resets.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And the eyes fill up when it
Yeah.
goes back.
Yep.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh my god.
It's some really next level. There's bellows and pumps, and it's pumping liquid around.
Dude,
Right?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea people were doing this.
Dude, people are doing crazy things.
That is fucking badass.
On a more, so that's really crazy. So I have a watch that is called a perpetual calendar, which is a traditional complicated watch. So it does day of the week, date of the month of the year, 4-digit year, moon phase, power reserve, okay? And the time, obviously. And it has all of those functions, and if you keep the watch running, it's mechanical, you got to keep it wound up. If you keep it wound and running, it will be accurate for all of those things without needing any adjustment for about 300 years. Whoa. Leap years, how many days are in the month that you're in, all of that shit. Yeah, I have IWC Big Pilot Perpetual Calendar.
See, this is
And
more
it's
of
all
what
math.
I like. I like a watch that looks like that, like a classic looking.
Yeah, look up the
regular
Big
watch.
Pilot Perpetual Calendar.
I like their watches, IWC. They make beautiful watches. That right there, to me, that's like a perfect looking watch.
Yeah.
I like normal looking shit.
Yeah, Big Pilot. Yeah. Yeah.
Which one is it?
Orange hands down.
Whoa.
Down. Yeah, that's it. But go down one on the left, bottom left. Yeah, that's the one.
Wow.
So it's got a lot going on.
that's the one
there.
that you have?
That's the one I have.
That's
yeah.
a beautiful watch.
Yeah, and it's big and chunky and heavy. But you see, it's got 4-digit year, and then the month at the 6 o'clock mark, day of the week, and the second hand at the 9 o'clock, and then the date and the power reserve at the 3 o'clock. And if you keep that running, that'll give you June 3rd, 2018, Friday, whatever. Automatically, it knows all the math. Hundreds of years.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
All you have to do is keep it running.
Just keep it running.
So you have to just put it in a perpetual watch machine.
Yeah, or wear it.
Or wear
Yeah.
it.
Fortunately, I like wearing it, and it has an 8-day power reserve. So if I wear it
Really?
one day out of every 8 days, it's great.
Oh, so it has a battery assist?
No, the spring will keep going for 8 days. Yeah, 8 days.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then you see in the inner gauge at the 3 o'clock position, it says days 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
This one's dead. It's in the empty gauge, but normally it stays up by the S in days when it's full.
Wow.
Yeah, and it shows you how much is left. This watch has a fuel gauge as well.
Lets you know
This
how
is
much
mechanical.
juice.
Yeah, see, look right down here at the 7 o'clock position. That watch has a fuel gauge as well. Very helpful.
That's crazy.
My favorite feature in mechanical watches is the fuel gauge.
Is that an actual fuel icon?
It looks like one, kind of. Yeah.
It does kind of look like one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So watches. I have a podcast about all this called Watch and Listen. I do it with a watchmaker who takes shit apart. Cameron Weiss, he's the man.
Watches are connected to like extreme materialism in a lot of people's eyes. Like they don't
Totally.
Yeah, it's one of those things
Totally.
where people are like, oh god, you're into watches. Like you must be a dude.
Totally. It's a fair argument.
Yeah.
Because watches also are used as trophies and
Yep.
flashy shit, and
But they're also cool.
they're also cool.
Yeah, it's like
They're also cool.
I get it. That is true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing I feel with cars.
I mean, look, is every person who buys a Ferrari LaFerrari, is every one of those people a douche? No. Some are, and some are
What percentage?
the ultimate enthusiast. 75.
75?
No, I don't know.
It might be 50.
No, it might be 50.
Might
it could
be.
be.
Might be
there's
50.
there's enthusiasts and there's douches in everything.
In everything.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's a reason why those things are highly coveted because they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that watch, I don't want $1 million watch, but that watch is the shit. I would never wear it if I had it.
Dude, if you're in Beverly Hills, go in the store, the Jacobs store in Beverly
I
Hills.
don't want to get frisked. I want to do the fucking TSA thing on you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm sure. They must be like really worried about people walking in that store.
Yeah, you got to get buzzed in it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Fuck you. You're selling something.
Dude, you could smash and grab like $6 million nowadays.
No.
you
Isn't that
know?
crazy? Somebody just did that recently. In England, they smashed and grabbed a watch store with machetes. Yeah, because there's this thing in England going on right now. I don't know if you know it, but London has for the first time ever passed the United States, passed New York City rather, for the most murders.
Really?
Yeah, ever since
They're all
1800.
just stabbing each other?
Stabbing each other. So the London mayor of London on Twitter wrote a tweet that has been getting him tortured online, saying there is no reason to have a knife. If we
I
catch
saw
you
that,
with
yeah.
a knife, you will be. We catch you, regular guy,
You regular
pocket
guy.
knife. I open packages. I carry a knife. I want to cut a piece of rope. I have a knife on me. I said, okay, not anymore. No, in London, this guy's saying if you have a knife and you're caught with one, you'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And of course, United States, we're going crazy over here.
Yeah.
We're like, I thought it was a gun problem. I thought it was a fucking gun problem. You gonna ban knives? What's next? Fucking scissors? What are you gonna do? Where's this gonna end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to think that I think we have a little bit of a gun problem.
We definitely have an
a gun
issue.
problem.
We definitely have something going
Yeah.
on. But this smash and grab, these motherfuckers use machetes.
That's gangster.
That's gangster because they knew nobody had a gun.
Yeah.
You try to use a machete and dudes behind the counter have shotguns. You
Yeah.
got a real problem.
Yeah.
There's a homemade machete.
A homemade machete?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
How
it's a
gangster is
samurai
that?
sword.
How do they know it's homemade? Because they caught the guy?
Yeah, it says quotes homemade.
They caught him. In my house. I made it right here. Come on inside.
Good for you. It's like, well, I guess he didn't get away.
No.
Good attempt.
Yeah, but it's, again, watches. Like when you think about something small, like jewelry and watches, something that's this little,
Yeah.
and something you fit in your hand could be worth $1 million. It's one of
Yeah.
the only things in life where something that fits in your hand is worth $1 million.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of the mainstream brands like Rolex and whatever. There's a lot of false prop up of the value. They intentionally, they don't build as many Submariners as they could
Right.
because they want to drive the market up, demand up, and it keeps the used values high. And there's an entire ecosystem, based on new and used watch values. And
Yeah. Well, I think the craziest value thing and anything of like high-end things that people love is diamonds.
Yeah.
Because they're not even really that rare anymore.
Yeah, didn't I just read you can make them in a microwave now? Isn't that a thing?
A microwave?
I read an article that they figured out how to make diamonds in a microwave.
What?
Yeah.
How do they do that?
The same way they fucking make them in a lab. Just someone figured out a process. Carbon and heat.
You know, when they make them in a lab, it's really interesting. I don't think they can make really big ones in a lab yet. I think they can only make like 1 or 2 carats. I might be wrong.
I would
might
definitely be
behind the
down with
times.
getting cremated and being turned into a diamond.
Here it goes. Scientists
See?
have figured out a way to make diamonds in a microwave, and it could change the diamond industry. Oh, shit. It's over, bitches. April 9th just happened, huh?
Oh, yeah. I read this article, and I just noticed now it's Business Insider. I don't trust them.
Look at this. Yeah, placing a tiny fragment of a diamond, a carbon seed in a microwave with varying amounts of carbon-heavy gas. The result is a synthetic, ethical diamond with the exact same structure and chemical composition as a diamond that came from the ground. It works so well, experts reportedly need machines to tell the lab-grown gems apart from the natural ones. Estimated by the 2026, the number of lab-made diamonds will skyrocket to 20 million carats. So then, here's the thing.
Anyone who owns a natural diamond, that
be
diamond's
gangster.
now in the toilet. You think so?
Yes,
But
because
you-
they'll be like, this is natural. This shit came from
What if they
God
can't tell the
itself.
difference, though?
You go to a machine. Like, this motherfucker's got a machine.
Who's got a machine?
People would want to know. They would want to know. I need to know. Is it machine certified that it came out of the ground?
I don't know.
Is this blood diamond? I only want blood diamonds.
I got engaged a few months ago, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I got a great deal from somebody who I nicknamed Blood Diamond. It's not a blood diamond, I assure you, but I
was
just
the
calling
nickname?
calling him Blood Diamond. I just love it. And
a
Hannah
fucked
gets
up
very
phrase.
upset. Can you fucking stop it? I don't want to wear this thing around anymore. Calling this
Blood
guy
Diamond.
Blood Diamond.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, too. It's like they've got that business on lockdown. Do you want to prove your love and your
my
commitment to a
God.
relationship? Well, you need to buy one of these. You can't buy a fucking a car.
Nope.
Oh, you can't buy her an engagement car.
I tried to do that, actually. I was going to propose with an engagement Jeep Wagoneer.
That's a good move.
It was until...
They get mad at you.
Yeah, she really wanted the
They
diamond.
want the diamond. Show
She
their
wanted the
friends.
diamond.
Look,
I know.
Matt stepped up. He
Ace.
stepped up.
Clarity
Look what he
is
did.
perfect.
It's amazing. He stepped up.
Did Mike step up? Mike didn't step up. Matt stepped up, but Mike didn't step up. Mike's like, fuck those fucking diamonds. They're all thieves. It's not really worth that much.
CZs, bro. Just need a CZ.
If a girl found out that you had a fake diamond, like that was the thing that happened to an aunt of mine.
She found out her diamond was fake?
Yeah, she was getting divorced, and she went to bring a ring in. She found out it was fake. Dun dun dun.
Trump gave someone fake diamond cufflinks. Who was that? Somebody.
That's awesome.
Someone in business. He gave him a pair of diamond cufflinks, and he went and looked, and they were fucking CZs.
If that's the case, if he did that to you, that guy's ready to fuck you. He's about to make
He's
something
about to
go
roll.
down.
That guy's gonna roll.
He's
Mueller.
That guy's steaming right now. Fucking fake diamonds. You don't respect me, Mr. Trump? Well, I don't respect you. Trump has
there
been
you
giving
go.
out fake diamond cufflinks for years. Oh, my God. He's hilarious. He is hilarious. Do they shrink his hands for those pictures on purpose?
No.
Because his hands aren't little. Everybody always calls his hands little. There's something he does with his hands that make them look little. It's like he does a lot of stuff like this. It's like he brings
It
them
could just be
together
little in proportion to his head, which is gigantic.
and getting bigger, apparently. Poor guy. He's going down now. I mean, when they raided his attorney's offices, here's the thing: in order to get all that stuff passed through, Republicans have to agree to that.
Yeah.
Like there's like in order to actual Republicans and people that should be his supporters had to be a part of the
I
whole
read
process.
that everyone that signed it was an appointee of his administration.
He's in trouble.
Yeah. If
It's-
they're raiding your lawyer's office,
Yeah.
you are so fucked.
And if it all goes down that he winds up getting in trouble, not even for Russia, but for paying off a chick that he had sex with.
Imagine
Like,
it's a
wow.
porn chick that takes this whole thing down.
Listen, man, I need Justin Martindale an apology. He was saying that she's the Monica Lewinsky for this administration. I'm like, no
Oh,
way.
come on. No way.
I was like, he's going to brush this off. It's going to be nothing. Nobody cares because everybody knows. They know he did it. So it's not.
it's not even a question of whether he did it.
right.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of whether or not it's legal.
It's a campaign finance violation
Exactly.
if the
Isn't that
lawyer paid
crazy?
it. Yeah.
That's a campaign finance.
And then
paying off-
admitting to knowing about the payout is like admitting to obstruction. It's like a whole
Right.
other.
When he talked about it in that interview, when someone caught him getting onto his plane and he acknowledged the lawsuit,
Whoops.
that just he fucks up, man.
He doesn't know how to shut the fuck
Well,
up.
not only that, his whole life has been about not shutting the
Yeah.
fuck up, about saying whatever you want. Like, that's his instincts. And then all of a sudden you put him in this position, you
Accountability?
say, well,
What's that?
I want you to be a totally different thing now. I want you to be presidential.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's trying to pick fights with Joe Biden on Twitter.
You're not going to change a
Picks fights with people.
70-year-old billionaire. You're not going to change that guy. He's been told yes 1,000 times a day for the last 40 years.
What do you think's going to happen with him? Do you think they're going to kick him out? Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's not going to. I think it's.
I just don't see how he can make it through 4 years.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
only
think
1 year.
Yeah. It's
1 year and a couple months.
It's very bad. It's very bad.
While we've been going on, Paul Ryan has announced that he's going to not seek re-election.
Oh, thank God.
So he's retiring.
Fuck Paul Ryan.
He's probably sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
What does that guy do now?
Apparently, he had some kind of realistic challenger Democrat that has been really ramping up their campaign, and he does not want to stick around to see how that's going to go.
Really? Does he want to lose?
He doesn't want to get humiliated. Yeah.
Wow, that's what it is, you think? Or maybe he's just tired of
Losing.
shit.
No way.
Now, maybe he needs to get paid for all those fucking bribes. Like, now it's time.
I saw today that the former speaker, John Boehner, is how you say it, is
Yeah.
now on the board of a major marijuana.
Yeah, he went all pro legalization.
Shit.
Yeah.
Got to get that
How
paper.
do you feel about this legalization situation?
I hate it.
I hate it
I think
too.
they should lock people up. Lock
No.
them up. They're getting high. Lock them up.
But compared to Prop 215, compared to 17 to 18, what do you think?
What
In
don't you like
California.
about it?
Well, the 30% sales tax,
Yeah.
which was inevitable, but
This is what I like about that. It's still reasonable. You can get high on a very small amount of money for a long period of time.
That's
okay,
true.
so I don't think we should be complaining about that. Two, I think we could show that there's a real benefit to legalization that benefits communities, benefits schools, firemen, police officers, whoever can get that money. And I think that's where the money should be allocated. And I think you could get billions of dollars for the state just doing that. And I think that is a real positive aspect of legalization that might be the one thing that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back across the country. When people realize that you can make real money and that real money can be beneficial to things that communities need. Plus, you starve out illegal drug selling. Illegal drug selling is what the real problem has always been. When you make something illegal, only criminals are going to sell it. Then you have criminal mentality. You have people that have guns and gangs, and those are the people that we're scared of, not businesses.
Yeah.
If we were scared of businesses, we'd be trying to close liquor stores. Nobody gives a shit about wineries. You know, we're not. Those are drug stores. A winery is a drug dealer. They are. They
I
just
listened
sell
to you and
delicious
Maynard
drugs.
talking about wine. Yeah,
They just sell delicious drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm for them 100%. I love wine. That's not my
and
point.
Danica
my
Patrick
point
was
is
selling wine too. Yeah,
things should be legal.
Yeah.
Things should be legal. And when marijuana is legal, tax the fucking shit out of it and give that money back to the community, and everybody benefits. People like you and I who are responsible, grown adults,
Yeah.
who pay our taxes and are good people, and we like to get high occasionally. We should be able to buy it with no worry about being locked in a fucking cage, and that money should go to schools. That money should go to fix the streets. That money should go to cops and firemen. That's what it should go to. And
it
that
should.
Makes and
Do we know where it's being
I have
allocated?
no idea. I have no idea.
No idea.
I would hope it's. Here it goes. I'm joining the board of Anchorage Holdings. John
Acreage
Boehner.
Holdings.
Acreage, sorry. Because my thinking on cannabis has evolved. It's my man got high.
Yeah, I
I'm
was
convinced.
anti, and then I got some of this good shit right here.
I'm convinced descheduling the drug is needed so that we could do research, help our veterans, and reverse the opioid epidemic ravaging our communities. Yes, I agree.
mean-
and I would add to that, get high.
I
would say so we can get high.
Yeah.
Put everyone out of jail.
I think is there evidence showing weed reduces opioid use? It is, right?
Well, it really depends upon how it's used. It can benefit some people with some kind of pain. I don't think it's realistic to say that some people that are in horrible, horrible pain would get the same reaction from
Right,
marijuana that
right.
they get for opiates. People with like really bad burns, for instance, where
Right,
they're
but
in
if you just
24/7
become
agony.
addicted, not medical reasons. I'm talking about if you're become addicted to oxys.
There's better drugs.
Yeah.
There's better drugs that get you off it.
Yeah.
There's quite a few that can help you. Probably the most powerful and the most efficient is Ibogaine. Because
like ayahuasca Ibogaine?
No. Ibogaine is not ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is a hallucinogenic that is from South America. It's dimethyltryptamine. Ibogaine is from the iboga tree, and it's
Is that from Breaking Open the Head? There's a book called Breaking Open
I'm sure
the
he
Head.
covered that.
Okay.
I'm sure he did.
Okay.
But Ibogaine is like a and it's something I haven't experienced, so I'm just talking out of what I've read. Essentially a ruthlessly introspective 24-hour trip that rewires the way your brain views addiction and has a high level of effectiveness.
Interesting.
In rehabilitating people, like just killing the desire to do opiates.
Huh. Are they doing that in America?
Mexico. Gotta go to Mexico. Can't go to America. It's illegal in America, of course.
Is it like a sweat lodge shaman type thing, or is it a hospital type situation?
Hospital type situations. There's my buddy Ed Clay runs I think he still does, runs a clinic down in Mexico, and he started it because of his experiences with pills. He got hurt, got on pain pills, had a real hard time with them. Went to get on Ibogaine to get off the pain pills. It worked like a charm. And he was like, holy shit, I need to let people know about this. You can get your life back.
Yeah.
And it's not something you get addicted to. It's apparently something that you
One
have a really
time,
hard
right?
time doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's rough.
Yeah, it's like you go, okay, that was enough. Thank you.
you're
Like
"Ooh."
DMT.
Exactly. It's one of those things
One was
where
enough.
you did it once?
Yeah, in college, and that was sufficient.
You can get a lot out of one.
Yeah,
You know?
I had a plaid fucking world.
Yeah.
Flying around. It was full out of body nuts.
Oh yeah. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I think the difference in Ibogaine versus DMT is ego dissolving and very hallucinogenic, and you see these amazing visualizations. Ibogaine seems to not have that, but instead be like deeply, like to the cellular level, introspective. And just and there's some sort of a physical action that happens in the way your brain, the way your brain looks at addiction changes pretty radically.
Do you need to be like coached through it, or it just happens?
You should probably. I think all those things should be done in places where people are going to feel safe, and where people have done it before, and where people have experience with people that have done it before.
Yeah.
And having a real center that has real professionals and medical health staff, that's what you want. And the only thing that's keeping that from happening in America and keeping millions and millions of people from getting off pills
Drug companies.
Drug companies.
Yeah.
Drug companies lobbying to keep all these very helpful things illegal. And we're slowly but surely going to work them out. And the way we're going to work them out is through money. That's why I like the fact that marijuana has a 30% tax. Make it 50. I don't give a fuck. What's a joint? How much is a joint?
I mean,
a joint can get you high all day. Think about what a drink is.
Yeah,
a drink.
yeah.
You go to a bar, you get a drink. How much does a drink cost?
$8.
Yeah. $8 worth of weed will fuck you up
It's true.
for many days.
Yeah, I don't know about many days.
2 days.
Maybe one day.
How much is a joint?
Maybe half a day.
A couple hours.
If you're buying a pre-roll
Okay, how
joint,
much
like
is one of
$10,
these bad
$12.
That was $25.
This is $25. This
That's like a
$25
fat cigar.
This is
Godfather.
a blunt that will put you on Pluto.
Yeah.
You'll be over there with David Bowie.
I know, but
and
it
that
was
electric Tesla.
$25 last month, and now it's $33.
A shot of Macallan, though, is well over 25 probably at any bar.
Yes, it is.
He's right.
All right, fine, fine. My taxes
Uh-huh.
on my weed are good. Fine.
Thank you.
10 years I've been buying legal weed, and all of a sudden I want to buy illegal weed because of the taxes, and you just talked me, guilted me even back into legal weed.
I'm happy to pay it, and I think that it's. I understand. Like, yeah, man, maybe it's okay for you. I get it. But what I'm saying
I'm not
is,
making that point.
The money. No, you're not. But
Yeah.
some people would.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the money, if it goes to a good cause, if we really can change the way people perceive drugs.
Yeah.
Because there's not a war on drugs. That is a lie. There's drugs everywhere. They're prescribed. You can get them at a drug store. You can get them at a liquor store. You can get drugs. There's a lot of drugs. It's just certain drugs.
Right. The ones that they can't, corporatize as easily.
So the way to get it in is not through the corporation's influence, but through the influence of the consumer. The consumer paying exorbitant amount of taxes on these things willingly is going to change the opinion.
I like weed being legal. I'll pay the fucking tax.
right.
I will.
There we go.
I was just curious. I mean, I look, selfishly, totally selfishly,
Right.
my own benefit, I, as a guy who jumped through the one hoop and got a $40 medical card, was happy to have it be called medicine and get it
Yeah.
and have it legally and not pay taxes on it.
Right.
Now, it seems like it's the same, except I'm paying the tax on it.
It is the same, but it's progress because the money's going into the community.
I hope.
If
it is,
let's
that's
find
great.
out where it goes. Let's take a guess. I hope it goes towards law enforcement. I hope it's divvied up between law enforcement and education. How about that?
I hope it goes to education, but something tells me it's not.
I just feel like there's going to be so much money. Like Colorado had to give tax money back to its state
so much.
residents.
Oh,
They're
do
like-
they really?
Yeah,
You get a
gave it back.
refund?
They gave it back because there's so much money being made by weed.
That's like Alaska. It's like the oil pipeline.
Exactly.
You have
Very
negative
similar.
state taxes. That's boss.
I don't know if they have negative state taxes, but I know they gave people refunds. They gave people money back because they made so much money on taxes.
That's awesome.
It's fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
And
if
Colorado's
that
booming.
happens in California, keep my fucking 30% sales tax.
Real estate went up 14% since marijuana was legalized. Instead of going down, like a lot of people thought, well, the real estate's going to crash.
No.
People are going to move out. There's potheads going to be in the streets. Nope.
A friend of mine wants to open a cannabis club, and there's a small area in the green zone where you can do that. And I'm like, great, here's your map of the green zone. I go, okay, what's for sale in the green zone? Nothing. Not a single building.
So this is like a place where you can get high, like publicly?
Yeah, it would be like
a cigar bar.
Yes, there's a lot of rules, a lot, and there's a very restrictive about where you can put it, and you absolutely, under no circumstances, can have a drop of alcohol anywhere on the premises.
Ah, interesting. So if somebody comes in with a beer, you're fucked.
You can't take, yeah,
You got to kick them out.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But they're in West Hollywood. There will be places where you can go and smoke on premises. Yeah,
That's going to be weird, huh?
yeah.
Go get high with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, it makes sense in Amsterdam because it's a walking city,
Right.
and you can use your coffee shop tour, to walk around the city and go
Right.
from coffee shop to coffee shop and sightsee, and it's really nice.
Sober up.
But in LA, what are you driving from coffee shop to coffee? I mean, fucking come on. Nobody walks here. What are you going to do?
Get in
Drive
your
there?
car. It's going to be like that scene with Ray Liotta and Goodfellas with the helicopters flying overhead. He's freaking out.
I remade that scene frame for frame, and it got kicked off YouTube because you have to use the real music, and I got trademark infringement, but I did it frame for frame with the helicopters.
What do you mean you did it?
I remade that helicopter chase
With you?
with me, and for a car review, I was reviewing a Cadillac, and I did the fucking thing. I threw the bag in. I went, I'm looking at helicopters, and we did the.
What was the problem?
Did you
use
what's
the same music?
Yeah, the actual
Oh,
music.
yeah.
Yeah, you have
Rolling
to use.
Stones, right?
Yeah, you have to use the actual music. Otherwise, it's not
Right.
Rolling Stones. What is it? It's not Layla. It's Layla. No. Oh, fucking hell. It's whatever it is. You have to use the exact music, and it didn't work. And it got kicked off of YouTube. It's too bad. Spent a lot
yeah.
of time making that.
Well, they're really good at spotting copyright
Yeah.
music now, or anything copywritten.
I thought I could get around it if I didn't monetize the video, but it didn't help.
when we get fucked, whenever we put up a video of like any nature thing, like a bear killing something or something like that,
Yeah.
those are all bought by someone, almost like patent trolls.
Yeah.
And when people put them up, they just take it down, or you have to offer them money to
Like stock
be able to
footage
license it off.
companies or something. Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff gets yanked down off of Facebook. Yeah. YouTube and Facebook, those are two places that stuff gets.
Facebook, I don't put videos on Facebook anymore because it just gets stolen immediately.
Yeah.
And also their revenue is.
What do you mean by it gets stolen?
It's very easy for someone to rip your video off of,
And then
Facebook.
what do they do with it?
Well, put it somewhere else on Facebook and whatever, versus if they re-upload it somewhere else on YouTube, the software algorithm will generally catch it.
Oh, I
You
see.
know.
So the software algorithm in Facebook is not as effective?
Yeah, they don't really give a shit.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They're too busy selling your information to the
Totally.
fucking Russians.
Totally.
Jamie was watching the video of
Did you watch Zuckerberg? How did it go?
And
I was
Jamie
driving.
like, he should know the answer to that.
That's what he had to go again today.
Yeah.
And I was watching right before you got here, and this, I don't know where she was from, but she was saying, you're the CEO of this company, and you should know some of these answers. And she was, listing all the shit he didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous. And then afterwards, now they've shown, which I guess it's part of now public information, his notes
Oh, no.
that he had, as references that he was looking at. I've only seen one picture of it. Mm-hmm. Just very weird stuff that, seems blatantly obvious that he should know or should say that's different from what maybe we think we should think they should be able to tell us.
I get the impression that this company grew so fast that they don't even know what the fuck is going on in there.
No, well, that was the other thing. He was talking about their influence on possible.
I have to pee so
Go ahead,
bad.
go ahead,
Are we
brother.
going to
Go ahead.
continue?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
cool.
continue. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
He was talking about his influence on all these different upcoming elections that were coming up, and about how they wanted to make sure that there was no bots that were influencing these elections. And I stopped and thought about it, and I'm like, oh my God. In that moment of him saying that, I realized what pressure he must be under, what pressure that company's under. They went from being a thing where people could share pictures of, hey, this is us on our summer vacation. Hey, fucking, we're going to go to the pub on Friday. That's what Facebook kind of was, right? People would talk about certain things in the news. They would have opinions. You put up something, a bunch of people comment on it. That's what it was. Now, with this last election and with him testifying in front of Congress. What I'm seeing is Facebook being like one of the most important sources of influence in the world today, and it's not really being completely managed. Whoa.
I also feel like what's
The
going on
Russians.
there?
The Russians.
Yeah, maybe. There's a little bit like Google needs to be looked into too. What is going on with my mic?
So-
Google also probably like they have a data. I think someone was just looking into this. You know, people downloaded their Facebook profile and they're like, my file's 1 gigabyte. Well, how much data is in here?
Right.
People found out a way to download theirs and find their information. What does Facebook know about me?
Right.
Apparently, there's also one that Google has on everyone, and it's much larger.
Cue the music. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, I'm not shocked. You know, I wouldn't be nervous if it wasn't for that. That Damore memo thing really changed my mind about a lot of things. Not because, you know, it's a subject that's near and dear to my heart, but because the way they were handling it was not. They weren't being honest. They weren't being honest about the science. They weren't being honest about the reaction. Even the way they were describing it. We're talking about the James Damore Google memo.
Oh, I don't know. Was that the sexism thing? What was that?
Yeah, well, it's what he was talking about women in tech. He
Oh,
was
yeah,
trying to
yeah, yeah.
explain why women would prefer to not, like why some women are not influenced by it. It's just the way Google handled it was it made me very nervous because they weren't being honest about the information. They weren't being honest about the results. They weren't being honest about what was in his. They were saying he was reinforcing harmful gender stereotypes. That's not what he was doing. What he was talking about is the science of the difference in the psychology between men and women and why women would gravitate towards different careers. Maybe that's why more women aren't in tech, and maybe there's ways to get women in tech.
Well, you've taken that angle before, right? With women in fighting and women in sports, right? Yeah.
There's some women that are not going to want to be into those things. There's some women that are going to be. What
I
is the
haven't read the
number in
article, I don't
comparison
know.
to men? It's less likely that a woman's going to be into fighting than a man. I don't think that's extraordinary to say, but a lot of women are into it. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, but it's just we're looking at human beings. Like
Yeah.
if you're an outlier and you're a woman who really loves to fight, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I am saying it's much more rare than a woman who wants to, become a nurse or do something that's traditionally a female caregiver sort of a position, which is really common.
And I didn't read
Physicians.
it. Did the letter memo indicate like this that science says women were less predisposed to becoming programmers or something like that?
No. It just was talking about gender, like choices and choices people make and why they make them based on personality traits and why things are more common. Certain things are more common in males. Certain things are more common in women, and that this would indicate why there were less women that were involved in tech, and it wasn't some systemic sort of discrimination campaign put on by men. But. My point was we were talking about them having all the information that you have, like Google and Facebook, how much information they have on you. It would make me less nervous if I didn't know about that, how they handled that Google memo thing. Because I'm like, well, you guys aren't being honest about what this is, what the guy wrote. You're painting the guy out to be a villain, and you think if you fire him and drown that this story goes out, and then you guys get to look like social justice warriors, and then you don't take the heat from what is an objective analysis of this issue.
Well, I'm not sure Mark Zuckerberg has a lot of incentive to be totally honest in this case.
Yeah.
Either he's totally honest and he's malicious, or he's totally honest and he's almost comically ignorant about certain things.
Yeah, when
right?
he's saying, I think he's almost got to say he doesn't know. But the problem is if they can prove he knows.
I mean, he should know though. I feel like also part of the issue.
Well, here's the
right?
thing: he should know. Now, him saying he doesn't know. What if they can pull up an email?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what if they have access to all of his emails and it shows that he knows?
They did. I was talking to you yesterday about it, and we were like, "What about the Facebook recording thing? Is anybody going to bring that up?" And it was brought up, and he said that they don't record audio.
Facebook doesn't.
Right.
You were talking about it with Google, weren't you? Were you talking about it with Google? That if you were talking in a room about a certain subject,
You've had
actual
that
Apple,
happen, right?
That's the Apple HomePod.
You've been talking about something in a room and then had pop-up ads come up, right?
No, I haven't.
Never have?
No. I believe it though.
It happened.
Have you had it?
It happened to me before. I don't know how. I couldn't tell you where the signals went, but I've definitely had strange. It could be a coincidence, but I've had strange ads pop up that are.
I read that That I don't know if it's accurate though, but I was reading that people have tried to prove, and it could be people on Facebook side just to give them propaganda, that that's almost nearly impossible to do right now, just because
really?
of the technology it would take to record your audio, have it scanned by something, and then deliver an ad to you based off of that in an amount of time.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
entirely
possible?
possible I could have looked at something similar at a recent time, and it was just far enough away for me to not make an exact connection. I don't want to.
I think what it represents, though, is that you recognize that is potentially in the future. Like
for
especially
sure.
with things like Alexa and things like HomePod and the Google Home.
I mean,
Yeah.
devices that are designed to listen to your voice.
Yeah.
Where that's the whole point of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Is all this good?
I don't know, dude. I get a lot of shit done. I'm real productive. You know, I have things that would be very difficult to find that can be delivered. Bro, I have a 2001 Mercedes SL 500. It's my traffic car. It's perfect for traffic. A nice big Clarion system in it.
traffic car.
It's great. I love my traffic car. And you know, it's got the old school removable hardtop. So I needed to get the stand to put the hardtop on when I took it off, right? Amazon, 12 hours. I had a stand for a 2001 Mercedes delivered to my house.
Wow.
That level of convenience,
Yeah.
I'll give up a little privacy.
A little bit.
I'm
bit.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll give it up. You can have it.
That's what's going to get us. That's what's going to get us to turn us into machines. Just give up a little bit here, a
little bit here.
there, a little
Yeah.
bit here, a little bit there.
I don't want to give up all of it. Like, I'm definitely opposed to
The driving
vehicle
thing.
tracking.
Yes.
You know, like about having a car that knows where you've been and tells somebody about it, which a certain company does do that.
What company is this?
Well, Teslas know where you've been.
Well, don't they all by virtue of their GPS?
But Teslas are wirelessly connected to Tesla. Ooh. So the
So they don't
reason,
even have to
so
check
part of
your
the reason
car.
Tesla's semi-autonomous system works as well as it does, and part of the reason Tesla is doing what they're doing as a company is your cars, all Teslas on the road are collecting mapping data for Tesla, you know, in real time. So they can, you know, be ethical with that data, or they can not. And odds are they don't give a shit where you're going, other than to help them figure out where to put the next superchargers and whatnot. And in general, you have to assume it to improve your experience. But if you extrapolate this 50 years down the road and some of our privacies get worn away, you could end up with a car where it's very easy to subpoena the records of your Tesla and find out exactly where you went.
So a Tesla would be the worst car if you were like a bank robber.
Fuck yeah. Now,
First
if you
of all,
need,
because
if you're
you
a
can only
bank
go
robber, you
200
need
miles.
analog. Big fuel tank. Think Transporter 1, Jason Statham.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Big fuel cell, black, late model car.
What's that invisible black again?
A Vanta Black.
Vanta black. Does anybody
It
have a
would look
Vanta
like
black
a-
car?
No.
No one. Ooh,
They
someone
haven't,
right now is
they
listening.
haven't painted anything like big in it yet.
No
It's
one
not,
yet, motherfucker. I have Vanta car on the way.
There's some weird environmental shit with Vanta Black. Because John Ward was telling me
Oh,
that
there is one.
No, that is velvet, my friend.
Velvet.
That's fucking velvet.
Ew.
Yep.
That's real?
Yep.
What? Wait a minute.
That says Vanta Black, but that's not Vanta Black. That is a velvet car.
That's on Rodeo.
Wait a minute. This Rolls Royce is not a Vanta black?
It's not Vanta Black.
Is it impossible?
It says it is there. I'm telling you, they haven't painted a car in Vanta Black. So either that's fake or it's the velvet shit they're doing now.
Yeah, I think that's a computer. It says
Yeah, it
effectively
says
wood.
yeah, wood. Yeah.
What it would look like.
Yeah.
Now, what is it made out of that allows it to get to this level of darkness?
You know, I don't know. It is just
Damn.
crazy looking.
That looks dope.
Joe, please don't to make a velvet car. I can't. We can't be friends anymore. If you
I wouldn't do that.
I saw Justin Bieber once
Wow, look at
driving
that
around
thing.
in
Why are
a
they doing
leopard
that?
print Audi.
Oh, he's got to do what he's got to do. If you were 23 years old and drowning in pussy, you'd probably do the same thing.
I think this was years ago. He was probably 19.
He's probably trying to keep them away from him. He's trying to have the
my
grossest
God.
looking car possible, just to say, look, stay away from my dick. Needs to recover.
Who of your crazy guests has rolled up to your studio in the dopest car? Does anything come to mind? Did Bilzerian roll up in that 6x6 he's got? There's the
Oh my
leopard print.
God,
I
that's
told you I
so
wasn't
gross.
bullshitting. I saw that thing
That
for
is
real.
so gross. That's a disgusting
I bet
car.
you didn't even really believe me
No,
until
I
you
did.
saw.
Because I knew he had a chrome
Fisker.
That's right. Fisker Karma, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I
And
knew
they
you
just
had
re-released that thing.
I heard they did that.
No.
Yeah.
The company bought all the assets and
They started blowing
They're
up when they
trying
hit
again.
water. When the
I asked for one for review.
Did
I
you?
was
They said no?
politely declined.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a big mouth. You're gonna drive through a puddle and it's
Call
gonna
him
explode.
like,
and you're gonna tell
like
people.
I see him.
Yeah, electric cars, man. There's a bright future. It's just I don't want to jump in yet, and I don't want anything driving for me.
True. Have you driven an electric car ever?
Yeah, I've driven a Tesla.
They're nice.
They're nice.
Yeah,
it's weird. Feels weird.
It does, but in an urban environment, you can see why it's a nice experience. When I drive an electric car, there's the chrome Fisker. When I drive an electric car and I get where I'm going, I am noticeably more relaxed than when I'm driving a gas car, especially if I'm driving like a loud sports car.
Right.
Yeah.
The yeah.
Those
for sure.
vibrations and stuff go through your body and kind of like stick with you versus the serenity of that silence.
Just the 250-mile range annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah. No, they need infrastructure. Like they're considering how many Teslas are in Los Angeles, there's an embarrassingly small number of superchargers in this city. There's not a lot of places to charge a Tesla outside of your home.
Right.
And they really need to do the infrastructure, and they need to come up with a faster charging solution, which Porsche, it seems, may have done. Porsche has a new electric car coming out called the Mission E, which is a Tesla fighting thing. And they supposedly have a fast charging system that can do like an 80% charge in 10 minutes or something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, you know.
That's crazy. 10 minutes is pretty close to
10 minutes
gas.
is fast.
Like
if you
gas
could,
is 3, right?
Yeah, 3 to 5.
Yeah.
10 is fine.
10 works.
Yeah, 10's good. And a competitor is good because, Teslas, you can't charge them for free anymore.
You don't?
No. The
What
Model
happened?
3s and the new ones, they don't come with free charging anymore.
These motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
$5 rocks, first one's free.
Oh, that's how they get you.
Yep. No more free juice.
Wow. How
Yeah.
long was it free for?
Few years. 2013, the Model S came out, and 4 years or so.
So what happens when you pull into the airport and you go to one of them electric spots?
Credit card, or you have a RFID fob or something.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers.
Gotta pay to play, my friend.
Why can't they figure out how, with all the sun in LA, to have a solar powered car?
It's just not possible with photovoltaic cells to generate enough.
That much
Dude,
juice?
it takes so much juice to move a 4,000-pound car down the road.
Yeah.
So much more than turning on a light or playing a radio. Like that mass movement, it takes so much energy.
Fisker had something on the roof that powers the radio, right?
Yeah, I know. There are a couple of companies. Fisker was one. Someone else did a photovoltaic roof where it like circulates the air when it's really hot out, or it can turn on certain things and shit like that. Yeah. But it's not enough to run or charge a car.
What if that's going to change in the future? I'm sure
I
they're
don't know. Have
improving upon
solar
it.
panels have they come that far yet? Well, Tesla has a roof tile. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I have.
The Tesla
Yeah.
roof tile.
Yeah,
where
that's
they're
fascinating.
trying to do a Tesla solar tile that goes on your roof that then will feed into the Tesla battery pack that hangs on your wall, and then you can be
autonomous.
basically.
Sort of, but you're still on the grid.
Yes.
And you give money back to the thing. The reason why they do that, they don't want you being completely off the grid. They don't want the grid to die.
Right.
People are really worried about that.
Well, I'm building a building right now. So get this. LA, I'm a Democrat, but LA will make you want to hang yourself building shit. So I have to prep my building for solar panels, whether I put them on or not. If I put them on, they're $92,000 to cover the roof and solar panels, and they pay themselves off in 7 years. So I generate $12,000 or so a year in power. And then after that, I'm fully positive, and the city will pay me every year.
Wow.
And they pay themselves off in 7 years, and the lifespan of them is 20 years. So I could potentially have many years of free power.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're building.
I'm building a collector car storage facility. Here's where I plug it. It's called Westside Collector Car Storage. It's going to be in Playa Vista, California, which is the sweet new part of LA.
Beautiful area.
Yeah. Do you know where the Clippers practice facility is?
No.
Have you seen that? It's
No.
right next to the Fox Hills Mall, right by LAX, Venice. It's conveniently located. And I'm going to have storage for 150 cars. It's going to be secure, climate control, the whole deal.
So you're doing it as an investment or
as a business? Yeah, as a business, ground up. It's
a great
for
idea.
customers. It's not it's not for me. And we're building a cool studio there, like this, like you've got, instead of my shanty little studio now.
So you're gonna
And
do a podcast from
hell
there
yeah,
as well? Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
And the podcast studio is going to be elevated. So we have car stackers. So I have 24 high stackers, and the studio's elevated, and we'll just look out over the stacked cars. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be killer.
Dude.
But I have to comply with a lot of California environmental craziness. I have to put a fire hydrant in. This, like, for the city. Like, I have to do it for the city to get a building permit.
Well, it kind of makes sense if your fucking cars catch on fire. You got a lot of gasoline in that one spot.
Yeah. The fire system that we have to build is incredible.
I would imagine.
Yeah, and we have to have auxiliary pumps. It flows 3,500 gallons a minute.
Wow.
And every car, so the stacks, every car on a stack has 2 nozzles at it, front and back.
Wow.
The whole way. Every car has its own set of nozzles.
Wow.
Yeah. So if a fire starts over here, it's completely contained over here, and the idea is that
do
it
they
doesn't.
kick on automatically when the?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
It'll
great.
be really neat.
That's
but I'm like 4
badass.
years into this now. So
Have you broken ground yet?
hopefully next week.
Wow.
Hopefully next week.
4 years.
My
and you-
permits just got approved.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
dope, dude. Come
Yeah.
back on when it's done.
Oh, it'd be great.
Come back on when it's done.
Oh, I'm
we'll
so
promote
excited.
it.
Yeah.
Let people know.
Thank you.
We've been doing this for like 3 hours and a half. Is there anything else?
Nah.
Is there any other shit going on?
No, I'm just
No?
happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you
I'm
too,
sorry I
man.
didn't get to come to your New Year's show because I
Dude,
made it a
anytime.
tradition
This
2 years in a
show's
row.
all over this place.
I know. I liked your new special too.
Thank you.
The one where it was cropped tight.
Yeah.
I liked
Triggered.
that very much. Yeah.
I'm doing that with my next one too. I'm trying to make it like you're sitting in the audience.
That's
the
great.
idea behind it.
And I liked Chappelle's tiny one he did in the belly room.
Oh, yeah.
I was at Gotham Comedy Club when he first told that Iceberg Slim story when he came back from Africa.
Oh.
I was friends with Chris Mazzilli, and he's like, "Come down, Chappelle's back."
You know Chris?
Yeah,
Oh,
from
that's
back
great.
in New York.
Oh, that's
he has a
awesome.
Corvette Stingray like yours.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris Mazzilli. And that special was good. And Judah Friedlander's was amazing.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah. It's called America's the Best Country in the United States. It is so good.
All right, beautiful. I'll check
It's
it
so
out.
good.
I'll
Thanks
check
for
that
having
out.
me, man.
Thanks,
This was fun.
my pleasure, man. My pleasure. The Smoking Tire on Twitter, the Smoking Tire on Instagram. The podcast is you got 2.
The
Watch
Smoking Tire
One.
podcast and Watch and Listen podcast. Check them out anywhere you find podcasts.
Matt Farah, ladies and gentlemen.
Joe Rogan, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, man.
That was great.